Hello, welcome to another episode of Oz Radio. Today, it's Loopy Legend, the master of frickin' insanity, and his wonderful partner.
Hi, Dr. Wheatley. My nose is full of phlegm.
Oh, great. We all needed to know that because...
Yes, I do.
I feel sorry for our guest stars this week, we happen to have Rzar and Quodz here with us, our resident Minecraft and/or / Tekkit, or probably Techless people as I like to call them. Guest stars here, say hello, boys.
Hello. I prefer the title Techno Wizard.
Great. What do you all want a title now? Go on, Quad. Spill yours out while we're at it. Come on, get it out of the open. Come on.
I'm going to go with Grandmaster Brutus.
Technological romance.
Indeed.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. They have officially sunk to a new low. Anyway, moving on.
Don't worry, guys. I promise I probably can't infect you with whatever disease I have through the internet.
Oh, don't worry.
The keyword being probably.
I've already got stuffed nose from going through storage stuff today.
Right.
In particular, I was going through the old CDs box, and, you find song CDs from early 2000s, and you're like, oh god, my music taste was just horrible.
This must never see the light of day.
Pretty much.
You sure you didn't have a few records mixed in with those CDs?
Here's an example. I was going through the box, and I found a Crazy Frog single, and I was like, oh god, why?
I think
Crazy
I think I can beat that. I was going through. I had a bunch of audio tapes that I listened to when I was younger. Back when you actually used tapes instead of CDs.
Back in the
I was going through a bunch of tapes, and I'm just like, which one should I keep? Which one should I throw out? And which one should I pass on? And I'm like, Redwall, keep. Redwall, keep. Old children's story, give away. And then I came across one, and I'm just like, oh my god, you can't be serious. And I can never remember what the name of that accursed woman was, but all I needed to see was the name Strawberry Kisses, and I'm like, oh god, it must burn.
I've ruined your life, because you're going to have to set up again. You'll be like, no.
I can do worse. Guess what I had in my old CD collection?
Oh?
The Chicken Dance. Basically.
That's a keeper. That's a keeper.
That is a keeper. It's still on my shelf, actually.
Oh, boy. I actually came across a Perlo earlier. I came across my copy of the original Carmageddon game, and I'm like, yes!
Oh, sweet. Except getting it to run would be...
impossible.
You'd probably be better.
You haven't figured this out yet. Our show's going to be running well over an hour, so I hope you got some popcorn. You might want to pause now and go get some, because with 4 crazy people here, we're going to be here a little while.
Also, I recommend any toilet breaks. You should pause and take them now, because we're going to be a while.
Go get your bacon, come back, sit down, get comfortable, get some form of liquid. You're going to need it.
Yeah.
What, Girardi?
If you're a regular viewer by now, you'd know to have a bucket with you for just such an occasion.
You'd also have known by now to have a secondary bucket, because you will run through your bacon way too quickly if you need.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Also, survival tip, if you're drinking Coke, that bottle can double function.
Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You can have your own bottle of Girardi and be like a sniper.
Yeah. Except the plastic doesn't really shatter all that well.
Also,
I'm pretty sure you could stab them.
It's quite humiliating to beat someone with a plastic bottle of piss.
Yes, and
I should probably make that a TF2 item. Plastic bottle of Girardi.
Oh, absolutely. But, yeah. Probably a good idea.
Anyway, we better get into this before we get too carried away. Our first order of business on the news is, if some of you have known, Ozfur's got a new breath of fresh air. We've got up to about 12 new mods filling in the ranks on the US and Australian servers, and also in other specialised areas. Yeah. Like Master Quodz. He's an old mod, but he's taking up a new job, aren't you?
I'm now a TF2 moderator, among other things. I'm also the non-game and... Actually, what was it? It's non-game and giveaways coordinator.
Who's that?
Nice. Well, we've had a couple of people in the past who've, tried to sort out competitions or giveaways, and they haven't particularly done it in a overly organised fashion.
Wait, you're not talking about me and Wheatley, are you?
Not you guys, I mean like other people in the community.
Just checking, because we are nice and organised here, aren't we? We've got a nice big fancy document.
Indeed.
Yeah, sure.
You guys are pretty organised. And of course, there are other people who do it who are a bit, well, whoops. Well, yes. A bit shite, as Wheatley said.
Maybe some bleeps there.
Maybe remind me to put in a few Fluttershy yays later on in the edit part.
Yes. Anyway, there are some people who, have said, "Oh, I'm going to do a giveaway. Just pull in all your prizes to me, and I'll draw one of you at random." And it's like, "Oh yeah, this person has 4 things against them on TF2 trading, and their account's been flagged by Valve." And it's like, we really need to start managing this ourselves. So
now it's give all your presents, all your stuff to Quodz.
Not exactly. There's a bit of revenue from ads and whatnot that Ozfair gets in on a somewhat regular basis, so we're going to put that into more prizes and games and whatnot, giving back to the community. I'm doing the non-game stuff, or outside of actually playing a game. Pretty much.
Since we're on the topic of you doing competitions, did you have any you'd like to announce while you're here?
I am going to announce the first competition, which is the announcement competition. Basically, you'll see it on Friday, probably around when this podcast comes up.
Yes. Yep.
It's going to be a thread on the forums and tells you all about the new competition and giveaways. And the first one is post in the thread. And basically, I'll wait there'll be a deadline for when the competition ends. I'll go through and apply the rules of the competition to it, do a random roll for the prizes, and we'll have 3 or 4 winners.
Ooh, remind me to sit there and spam the topic of 100 replies.
Nope, that's one of the rules. You can't post more than once.
Remind me to make multiple accounts?
That technically works.
Technically it works, but on the other hand, let's also remember that your Ozfer forum identity is also tied inexorably to your Steam identity.
Can you at least for 1 second let me enjoy a loophole when Loopy finds a loophole, please?
Also, cough. IP address, cough.
Yes. Anyhow.
You guys never let me know, do you? Bunch of bullies.
There's still some other ones in the work with, non-gaming stuff. I'm thinking of maybe a map creation one for our TF2 trade servers. And I'm looking to engage some of the artists in our community with a Draw versus Saxton Hail Bosses competition. Probably give away some load of Manco keys for that one.
Have you seen that picture from one of my older articles? The picture which I actually had commissioned of a bunch of Saxton Hail bosses.
Yes.
I believe I remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, some good art.
But for those of you who haven't, I'll put the link for you right there in the chat box so you can take a quick look-see at that one. I think it's quite good. But in all seriousness, on the topic of moderators and everything, I was once again subtly asked by Solar. He said, we'd quite like you to be a moderator again. We're going to ask you again, even though we fully expect you to say no. And I'm like, yeah, you can pretty much expect that I'm going to say no to that position for the simple fact that I can abide by most rules and what have you, and I'm a fairly amiable person most of the time. But as you know, I can get a little bit heated about certain issues. And if I were made a moderator, my first order of business would be to permanently ban everyone who types in the words, "you mad bro." And that would probably come under the terms of moderator abuse of powers, so I probably shouldn't be a moderator.
But, Weekly, why are you so mad, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, if you really want, I can make him mad, but I've promised not to do that ever again, or for a while anyway.
Yeah, we've had threats against that joke, and I'm delighted by that.
Oh, shut up!
I do believe he's mad.
You know what I'm going to do for you now, Wheatley? I'm going to go look up the chat logs and see how often that's been used. It should be funny.
Quite possibly. But moving on to the next order of business, and speaking of the whole versus Saxton Hale mod thing, there have been changes made to the versus Saxton Hale server this week. There are new Hales available, which it may include, as some of you are very much aware, the Daft Punk duo and the boss Nocturne, who I got here 3 times in a row, which I think has got to be some kind of a record for new bosses. But mimics, for those of you who have been irritated to all hell by the fact that you just can't seem to kill the damn things, mimics can no longer regenerate their shields. So they only have 1 free hit from the boss, or none if you get hit by a taunt by Saxton Hale or something like that. But it basically adds to make better balance. It's slightly advantageous to the mimics, but it's still a massive nerf in terms of their stuff here. And Wheatley, not myself, will also receive a massive overhaul and be made better in coming weeks or months. And all I can say is, finally!
Now, I do have a quick question. You weren't referring to a little orange mimic that jumps around all the time, were you?
These are the what now?
When you said those mimics that are hard to kill, you weren't referring to the little orange one that jumps around all the time, were you?
No,
like a
that
certain
implies
pony.
that one's actually hard to kill, Loopy.
Yeah, I know. Scootaloo is hard to kill, isn't it?
Well,
Hey,
unless
Loopy.
you're playing with, unless you're me. Let's not forget that occasion when I chased you down and killed you without raging or anything. Before
It took you long
before
enough.
the scouts left, and you refused to give me a prize.
No.
Ooh.
No prize. I can't remember, but there was a good reason why you couldn't get one.
Oh yeah, was it the fact that you didn't want to give me one because I'm awesome?
That was probably it.
I've got one word for you, Loopy. Banelings.
Oh, God.
This is one thing. It's annoying in a fun way, but every time Banelings comes out and I'm still alive, it's like there's hail. But forget the hail. There's a frickin' big orange pony. Let's go blow it up.
You're a delightful target. That's why.
It's the
I
curse of
know,
a mimic. I know it
Like,
too well.
It won't be written on me.
On the upside, I do have, I gotta say, one of the most glorious mimic banelings. Because if you're a baneling after you've had a mimic on that round and you've died with the mimic, then your baneling comes back with the mimic as part of their costume. So I've got a scout baneling wearing Gangplank as a costume. It looks amazing.
I would disagree with you on that one, because when I become Baneling, I appear as the spy Daft Punk mimic that I've got from, well, as part of making it and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And that just looks hilarious, because there's like 3 or 4 different unusual effects, including the green fire from being a Baneling. It's like, whoa.
Well,
So
that is very true. But on the other hand, I do have right here, as soon as I can actually get the view full size, copy page URL. There you go. Take a look at that, and we can put this in for the actual Google Docs later on, I suppose, if we really want to. But yeah, I believe my point is made.
That is a very well made point.
That's pretty good.
Those eyes.
Yes.
I
those
will,
eyes.
I will say one thing. I'm not going to say which plays, but there's like a handful of certain plays that have actually, well, they actually tell me they're like, right, Loopy, hurry up and lure them this way. They treat me like I'm the bait. I'm apparently bait for like demo man traps or engineer nests or heavies, and you know what I mean. Everyone loves using me to bring the hail to them.
Yeah, that's the other side of the curse to the mimic. Banelings find you a delightful target, and so does the boss. Big, juicy
Yeah,
pony.
I know, but I use that to my advantage. You want to follow me? Great. Follow me through this engineer's nest, heavy with a medic, and then demo man trap. Yeah, sure, go for your life if you want to try.
That's why I miss regenerating shields.
Pardon?
That's why I miss regenerating shields, because as a spy with a dead ringer on versus Saxton Hale, it's like, I'm indestructible.
Yeah,
I'm gone to those days.
I don't miss it too much. I never really got my shield done up anyway, because most of the fireman medics have quick fixes.
Hey, Quodz. Thanks for reminding me I should always choose Christian Brutal Sniper when you're in the server.
Let's see how much blood's in you. Oh man, I got to tell you, it's a pity that you weren't there, Loopy, because it was amazing. I had an absolutely glorious moment earlier on today when I was playing against... Oh, which boss was it? I don't think it was Hale. It was someone. I don't remember. Anyway.
Painter's Cupcake?
No, it wasn't Painter's Cupcake either. I was playing there. I was Gangplank. We were down to like the last 3 people on the group, and the boss was chasing after me, and I just started fencing with him. I got a full Uber off him from 4 consecutive hits, popped the Uber, and then when it drained out again, I kept hitting him, and I actually killed him with the Uber saw, which was absolutely glorious. I was just like, ha ha! I believe the exact words were something along the lines of, "Yeah, you might have a big chunky sword you got there, matey,
we better
but
keep
you
moving
can't
on
beat
because
Gangplank."
our Mad Chatter's table is TF2, so we'll get to that when we cross it. We better get going before we get too more sidetracked.
Yeah, we haven't even finished the news yet.
If you haven't noticed already, listeners, this 1 hour episode is more than likely going to be 2.
Maybe.
Bonus
We'll see.
material.
You could say that. Anyway, next bit of news. Congrats to the payload winners of the competition. Leon informed me that we handed over $400 worth of prizes away in 5 or 6 brand new games to the winners. So to those of you that went and done the hard work of getting Leon his V, congratulations, you got a prize out of it. And Leon got as much V as he could stuff down his mouth.
Sadly, I did not get a prize.
But to those who did,
Good start
great
bit.
job.
Congratulations to all you fine folks who did that thing which I didn't bother to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, I had to go a few times, but yeah, couldn't be bothered.
You didn't push Tiny Cart?
I didn't even know what it was about, honestly.
I
You
was
are not
one of the masters who did it the first day and then got bored.
Oh,
and expected
me
to
too.
still win something.
Me too, that's all I done. I pushed Tiny Cup for 1 day, and that's enough grog for Leon, otherwise he'll be too overdosed when he tries to sort out community.
Oh. But no, you've got that wrong. When he has too much, he actually enters this sort of omnipresent state. He becomes one with his server's code.
Ah.
It's that awkward moment when he's not actually on the server. He's not even in the administrative booth, but he just knows when somebody needs to get banned.
That's how it works.
It's like that episode of Futurama where Fry reaches his 300 cups of coffee and
Exactly.
everything is calm.
So that's what they call a sixth sense, then.
I thought it was going to be... I thought it was going to be more like the Futurama episode where Bender almost merges his programming with the ship.
Anyway, I think you can have the next bit of news, Whitley, since it is nice and exciting.
Yes, this thing which you know so much more about than me. Hooray! The new Tekkit server is out, so come and join us on this great version of Minecraft. Rzar and Quodz. We'll cover this more in the Gaming Insight section later on in this podcast.
Did you just say Quodz?
Quodz!
It's Quodz.
Quodz! Quodz is spelled with an A.
Oops. I might need to
Nope.
make an edit to the document.
No. It's more the fact that in relation to the rant, which I'm going to be doing later on in this video, I read things how they're spelled.
Yeah, true. That's why I spell my name how it sounds, unlike some people in this room. Ooh, the eerie silence. Anyway, we've got a few more bits of news, and Quodz can read the last one since he's into that a bit, but before that, since you guys have been bugging the crap out of me, and probably Wheatley as well, we'll be having another live session next week, since it is our 12th episode, so we probably plan to have one every 5 to 6 episodes, so obviously the 6th episode rolled around again, so we have no choice but to break out the live stuff. If you wish to watch, we'll be on, I'll leave the details and all that in the document and whatnot, but it'll be 7 p.m. next Friday, Eastern Standard Time, so if you wish to come and have a laugh with us live, you can come and do it on air with me and Wheatley.
Yay! You can't see it, but my fists are thrust into the air in triumph.
Why?
Because I can.
You should make some kind of puzzle that's very hard for people to figure out when the show is actually on next time. It would be like, we'll be on at 3 times the amount of eggs a chicken lays, Eastern Standard Time.
We will be on at the rising of the next full pig.
It would be a very Pinkie Pie thing to do.
Yes,
Why didn't I think of that? Oh, wait, we want viewers to actually watch.
See, that's
Meh.
something I've never understood. Why is
If,
the Blue
if, they,
Blaze...
if they solve it, they deserve to watch.
Oh, good point. I have to fall to that one. That is a very good point.
See, that's the one thing I never understood. Why in the Blue Blazes didn't Pinkie Pie just stop being insane for one moment and just say, hey, they're Paris brides, get rid of those things? It would have been so much faster than trying to talk solutions about stuff that they didn't even realize was a problem.
Because she's Pinkie Pie, and that's what she does. Get over it.
There's a
Clearly-
difference between
clearly
being
the best
insane.
way.
There's a difference between being cutely insane and being a blithering, dangerous idiot.
Clearly,
Hell,
the best
she
way to
was.
sort them out would have been to have grabbed them the bug spray and just been like,
Considering I have exceptionally more experience in the insanity area than all three of you put together, I'm going to say it's not quite like that. They're quite similar, actually.
Oh, I disagree. Consider this very simple...
Your argument is invalid. You're not insane enough to know.
Consider this very simple, undeniable fact. It's because of Pinkie Pie in episode 21, I think it's episode 21, Over a Barrel, in which she causes all the problems. All of them with her terrible, terrible song.
Yeah, that's about right.
It is true.
Like, look, think about it. The buffalo are all lined up, and the villagers are all lined up. They're sitting there thinking, should we really go through with this? There's a moment when peace and compromise could potentially be, you gotta share. You gotta
care.
woman.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I would have been up there joining her singing that, actually. That was a good line.
They're punching her in the stomach.
and this, viewers, is 4 grown men arguing about ponies. Enjoy.
Yes.
Actually, arguing about the plot and the characterization, she could have been a human for all I cared. The fact that she
Yes,
was
that plot, man. That plot.
yeah.
I watched it for the plot.
Wheatley, after this show, me and you are going to have it out in the alleyway, mate, if you're going to keep going like this.
Hey, she has her moments, but she...
You want to have it out in the alleyway, you keep going. Come on, I dare you to.
They're what?
You want to have it out in the alleyway, you keep picking on Pinkie Pie, huh? Huh?
Well, Pinkie Pie has her good moments, but she also has moments when she's nothing but a decorative, dangerous, homicidal lunatic.
That's
You-
it.
you-
After
you
this
mean
show,
how, like,
there's
Rainbow
another
Dash
person
learns
alleyway
the
out the
lesson?
back, and I'm going to show you one for, mate.
Oh, really?
You mean how, like,
Yeah.
Rainbow Dash learns a lesson one episode, and the next lesson, or next episode, it's completely forgotten? And
Yeah.
back to being an annoying beep?
That's it. I'll take it all three of you at once, you damn...
No, or
Dude,
that
this is- dude, love and tolerate. Isn't that your motto?
Not my motto.
Oh. Damn it.
Yeah, that's
Counted.
right. I know how to use a brony's own weapons against him.
Oh, do you want me to start? Do you want me to start, Wheatley?
Oh, he
Sure,
will
if
love and
by start
tolerate
you mean
it.
pass on the next bit of news to our friend here so that we can continue the show.
Yes,
You
this
just
is
wait
probably
later.
the longest news section this show's
I'm
ever
thinking
had.
of a percentage here that will really come back to bite you in the butt by the end of this episode, Wheatley.
You see that? Did you see that epic transition I just did there? Yeah,
Did.
that's right. That's how you segue into a productive part of the conversation.
All I hear is blah, 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 pick on Pinkie Pie, blah, 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 blah.
Okie dokie,
Right,
dokie.
baby.
Ugh.
Anyway, I believe I'm taking this one.
Yeah, since you're into this a bit.
For those of you out there who are Marvel fans, and for those of you who recently saw the Avengers assemble on the big screen, which was quite good, if I might say, and I hope to not spoil it for anyone. Bruce Banner is the Hulk.
Here's a minor spoiler for the Avengers. It's amazing!
Is also a minor spoiler for the Avengers. Iron Man's suit isn't actually made out of iron. I'm sorry. I just had to break it to all of you. Anyway.
Smash.
Anyway, it looks like there's a new Marvel Heroes MMO in the works. I think Loopy's going to chuck a little trailer video up for it, but it looks pretty cool. It looks like it's a bit of a Diablo, top-down kind of gameplay with Marvel characters. I think you can customize your own and whatnot, and it's apparently free to play. So those of you interested, I'd just say keep an eye on that, because it looks kind of cool.
Don't worry, for those of you who are lazy, I'll keep you posted.
Indeed. Oh,
But dibs on being Spider-Man, he has the best one-liners.
on that note, though, DC Universe Online was pretty good, so although it was kind of a bit of a WoW clone in some senses, but it'll be interesting to see what Marvel does.
Well, Sure, if by some senses you mean all senses.
Yes.
As
Except you couldn't fly without the assist of a mount.
Yeah.
Anyway, now for a crappy transition, we're going to move on to the YouTube picks.
Hooray!
Actually, we might have a bit of fun
Yay.
with this. We've got 4 of them here. 2 from me and Wheatley as per usual, and 1 each from our guest stars. How about you have a watch through of them and tell them which one you like the best, and we'll have a tally up of this, huh?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. A nice contest with these 4 weekly videos. Or
Yeah.
next week 2, who knows?
Yeah, but we can have a go at this. I still reckon the Stomp a Weasel Holiday is going to win, though. No offense, guys.
Yeah, go
yeah.
right ahead. I think that the video that I picked is easily the one that's probably had the most thought put into it. I thought it was
You
very
mean the one
clever.
Jeff showed you,
I know.
and you said you like, and you can't stop watching it because it's addictive to you?
Whoa, who? What?
Mine's a bit more inspirational, I'd say, because it's not particularly funny or anything. It's well, for those of you who are familiar with Deus Ex and Deus Ex Human Revolution and the transhumanist themes in that, I'm not entirely sure if this thing's actually leading into a game or anything, or if it's an actual thing. But the 2045 movement sounds pretty cool, insofar as transhumanist evolution sounds.
So, we'll actually have to take a look at that. That does sound very interesting.
It's basically a bunch of... I think there was a meeting in Russia 2011 for this movement, and they're like, okay, we're going to plan out everything, and so on and so forth. And they're basically hoping to achieve, I think it was like digital storage of a person's consciousness and personality by around 2030 or something, and then, eventually move on to people who can exist as like...
digital entities.
Digital entities, be it nanobot bodies or exist as, a hologram in whatever shape, form, or whatever the hell they want to be.
That's a very ambitious task.
And, essentially by that extent, digital immortality as well. It's interesting and something I'm going to keep an eye on.
It's fascinating. It's quite a bit sci-fi at the moment.
Indeed.
That does sound very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It does?
They've got a website for it as well, 2045.com. I'm going to keep an eye on it because that video is cool.
Because Quodz wants to be Daft Punk in real life.
Look for my video.
Fair enough. Not that he's rigging the vote there or anything.
Indeed. So, but how about you, Rzar? What's yours all about?
Mine's a moving music piece with game video from classic side-scrolling games. It's about the tragedy and mortality and the bravery to continue to go forth to the right of the screen.
Yes.
No, you're not being biased about yours either.
Oh man, I must admit I'm having a bit of nostalgia because I have got this on in the background as we've been talking. And
spotting all the games you know. Yeah.
Oh man, pretty much. It's just which games have I played, which games haven't I played, which games do I want to stab with a steak knife?
Also, I just want to say, if my video wins, I'll permanently mute Loopy on the servers. Just a little incentive for the public.
Why do I have a feeling that I'm going to cancel your video out of the running? I can do that, You might be admin, but I'm in charge of this tier show, so your video's out. Sorry.
No. You're thinking too obvious there, Loopy. You can't remove the video altogether. You just need to subtly change which video it is.
Yeah,
make it something
change one character at the end of the URL.
Make it something that everyone is going to hate and despise, like
Michelle Buckman.
like Justin Bieber reading Mein Kampf.
Oh, I got a better idea.
There might be some female teenage neo-Nazis who might like that, Wheatley.
Yeah, in retrospect, I suddenly realized that I would watch Justin Bieber reading Mein Kampf, because that would be hilarious.
Exactly.
That'd be great.
So whoever, we'll get some rendition of Strawberry Kisses on there instead.
Yes. Oh, I just remember the name of that accursed woman. Ugh.
Nikki Webster. I said it earlier.
No, I didn't even hear you, sorry.
Damn it.
Ah, well. How about you, Luby? You've already revealed it slightly earlier. What's yours?
I thought I'd go for a bit of comment this week. Someone showed me this video of there's a pretty interesting song about Weasel Stomping Day. Apparently some weird annual event, and they literally stomp weasels and they have this sound when you step on them, blood and guts come out of them.
Yes, it's deeply unpleasant.
Reminds me of Snake Whacking Day.
Yeah, it seems to be a direct parody of that, in my opinion. But the actual...
But it's funny, yeah. I laughed when I saw it the first time. I nearly fell out of my chair, literally.
Also, listeners, try not to think too much into Snake Whacking Day.
Yes, pretty much. Just forget that you've ever watched The Simpsons, and you should get a good chuckle out of that video.
Well,
especially because, here's the thing, though. Here's the clincher. If you like Weird Al, you'll probably like that video. If you like Robot Chicken, you'll probably like that video. If you don't like either of those things, you probably won't like it. But all in all, it's pretty.
And you have terrible taste.
It's nothing different to what we do here in Queensland. We have an annual day every single day of the year where you have a golf club and a cane toad.
Well, if you ever see those two things together.
It's called Whack a Cane Toad Day, except we do it every day of the year. We can find a golf club and a cane toad in the same area.
Yes, it's a very brutal and tribalistic and highly barbaric practice.
Is it cruel?
And then the RSPCA gets angry at us.
Is it cruel if they're a horrible pest and a menace to the environment?
No, not really. Go ahead and whack them.
Yes, but one could argue that for certain, groups of people as well. So
yeah,
probably not.
Like all of humanity, yeah.
Like for example, all people.
I don't like that guy over there. He's a pest and
where's
the environment.
Where's the 800-foot person with a golf club ready to wipe out the annoying people?
Ooh, I might know someone who can do that.
I doubt they're 800 feet tall.
Oh, he's hiding out in the Oort cloud, and he's hitting a comet our way.
No, she's hiding in plain sight in New York.
You.
Statue of Liberty.
Well, qualifies, doesn't it? Just have to get her a golf club.
No.
From what I've seen, she's a bit stiff, and I don't think she's too flexible to make the journey here.
No.
And now I'm just picturing the Ghostbusters. Thank you.
Yeah, she's too busy resting up from fighting the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
I think this is turning into a Doctor Who episode. Sorry.
Yeah, well done. But, using the earlier segue of supernatural things and just the general cruelty and unpleasantness of people, which brings us into the video which I have for this week. Now, I honestly didn't know what I was going to post for this week. There were a few really good videos that I was quite keen on posting, but this one ultimately was the one that I decided to go with, because after I saw it, I was just like, oh, this video is so me. Anyone who knows me and my work on, for example, Umbrella Man and Lady Kane knows that I'm a big fan of the ideas of manipulation, of, kind of that idea of fate and what have you, things in the background, things that you can't see affecting your day-to-day life. And I'm not talking about microscopic things like germs. I'm talking about the idea of physical manifestations of things like luck, fortune, and what have you. This video is a short music video done by a gentleman in the Newcastle, not Australia's Newcastle, but England's Newcastle, the original Newcastle.
Old Newcastle.
And exactly, old Newcastle. And it's quite a nice video based around the concept of Discord. Obviously done using this fan-made theme song for Discord from the My Little Pony show. The song itself is not the original part of the video, because the music video itself doesn't actually use its own original music. It uses that song. But awesome though the song is, it's not the reason I love the video. I love the video because it's such a simple idea, executed so brilliantly, of just this mischievous, malevolent force who just makes subtle changes, very small things that utterly ruin the days of the people around it. And I really like it. It's a really nice video. And props to the guy who made it.
By the way, does that make our Newcastle New Newcastle?
Could be New Newcastle. It could be. And I can't help but wonder if that means that in Futurama we will be called New Newcastle.
Indeed.
Or possibly Old Newcastle, if we're the ones buried in the ground.
Now comes the part of the show where me and Wheatley have a good time, and the guest stars dread.
Or look forward to intentionally, depending on how much they like being, I won't say interrogated, let's say interviewed.
Be gentle with me.
tortured. Come on, I got a nice feather here I wish to use on Rzar.
There's an old D&D term which I use on certain occasions like this, and it is roll for anal circumference.
Let's hope you roll a natural 20.
Oh yes, you do not want to roll a natural 20 because the DM will exploit that like hell.
Trust me when I say I promise I won't use feather dusters or whips or any of that other garbage. It's strictly...
Quickly, your halfling rogue needs a place to hide.
Oh dear. Anyway.
I think we're giving too many underage children too many bright ideas at the moment.
Yeah. Moving right along, let's get into it.
Right, so this is the part of the show where Rzar and Quodz get to tell us a little bit about themselves. The microphone's yours, boys.
Dead silence.
I love doing this.
He is the lead admin after all.
Well, how about you start about telling us a little bit about yourself, what you enjoy doing, and what your favourite hobbies are, or something like that. I don't know. I didn't have any questions because we said we'd keep it nice and flexible. No whip intended.
Flexibility? That's a load of old cobblers and you know it. Just steal some old questions from previous interviews. That'll work just fine.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember if I answered any of these sort of things in the very first episode. Oh well, it'll be due to someone.
Well, we
can't living on the moon.
We could start by asking like we've already asked Rzar's one, but we'll ask again because there's obviously heaps of viewers in there. But how did you first get into Ozfur, and what drove you to become a big member of Ozfur and help out as much as you guys do?
Well, I first came to Ozfur through the Minecraft server. Unlike a lot of others who went, TF2. Ozfur's always been big in that, but no, I came through Minecraft. I can't remember exactly how I heard of Aussie Ferocity initially. I think I might have just heard of it from seeing it on the server lists in TF2, but one day I just went, I want a multiplayer server to play Minecraft on. I'm tired of building awesome things by myself, and I looked up to see if Ozfur had a server. And from there, I just played with them and ended up somehow in this role.
Yeah, don't worry. We all have that moment inevitably when we're playing Minecraft and we just think, yes, this thing is fantastic. How about you come and look at this, Mr. Creeper? I need a real person to look at this.
Yeah, basically.
Exactly.
Pig, sit there and look at my wonderful creation.
I still reckon the only reason creepers are in that game is because God wants to bless people by making their structures holy.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard you say.
You laughed though, didn't you?
Oh, I laughed in the same way as I laugh at somebody who makes a joke that's so horribly bad that you laugh so that they don't feel like it.
You laughed while crying inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that laugh of, I'm going to hell.
And Luffy makes these jokes that I'd question the last time he ever played on a Minecraft server that didn't have creeper block damage turned off.
Hey, I resent that. I have pairing stuff I've already built. Urgh. And this news just in, Luffy is looking for a new co-host. Please apply in emails.
Hey!
Shotgun mode.
Let's face it, you're never going to have chemistry this good. All you're going to have from anybody else is a total sycophant.
No,
Unfortunately, yes.
Next week,
you can co-host with me anytime.
Next week, Luffy Legend.
You can co-host with me.
Next week, join us for Luffy Legend and the Inanimate Carbon Rod.
Look, he's got an inanimate carbon rod.
Why do I feel like the pun's on me at the moment?
Oh, Luffy, you haven't watched enough Simpsons.
I've never really watched The Simpsons,
to
be honest. Random episodes here or there.
How can you be a fan of cartoons that have never watched The Simpsons?
Yeah.
The longest running cartoon series ever, and you don't think there's anything to learn?
I know there's longer, but anyway.
What is longer?
How many episodes does The Simpsons have exactly?
Over 13 seasons or so?
Let's take a look. Let's see if Google can answer this.
I couldn't be stuffed looking up Google. I've got too many things open already.
Google knows all.
Let's see here. How many Simpsons episodes have aired? We need some waiting music here. As of May the 4th, 2012, 505 episodes of The Simpsons have aired.
Aha! One Piece has over 540 episodes out. Beat that!
Okay, let's see that.
Wait. One Piece, the original, or One Piece 4Kids? Because 4Kids one just sucks.
The original.
Okay. Also, with that waiting music, you should splice
How
in
many One Piece
Spanish
episodes are there? Let's see here. The newest episode that was released... Oh, wait, this was posted quite a while ago.
Yeah.
I'll look for an updated version of that, shall we?
Oh, just pull up Wikipedia.
Indeed. Oh, it's not telling me. Who cares? Figure it out later.
Wikipedia
We'll just go with the safe assumption that The Simpsons has more.
Wikipedia says 508 episodes over 23 seasons.
Snap.
Silence! In your face!
Hey, congratulations! You've got a show! A thing
Congratulations,
about...
you have won one internet point. Spend it wisely.
I'm the best person at winning absolutely sad contests. Do it all the time.
I don't know. I can't help but wonder the validity of that particular statement. You've got a choice between two TV shows. One which is universally known and beloved and remembered by everyone on the face of the planet, even people who don't watch television, and another show which maybe a handful of nerds will actually remember and know and enjoy. Not that there's anything wrong with One Piece.
Actually, I haven't seen all the One Piece.
Let's be honest
I just
for a
know there's
moment.
more.
It's not a massive cultural pop common phenomenon. It's
good point.
just a show. And it happens to have a lot of episodes because it's based on pre-existing material. The Simpsons stuff is all original.
Kind of. The more recent stuff's kind of,
Yeah, but then
But
again,
that's another story for another time.
yeah, exactly. The weekly rant is not about The Simpsons being garbage in the
Yeah, let's not get onto that.
Yeah. Ugh. Anyways, so, to ask you two another question, what is your favourite boss to play as in Hale, if you play it at all?
Ooh.
Hey.
Well, Quodz obviously has his answer straight away.
Uh-huh.
Yes. As you know, seeing as I'm the maker of Daft Punk Duo, my bias is obviously heavily weighing on that one, so Daft Punk Duo.
Well, here's another question. Who's your favourite partner?
People who don't suck at it. So basically anyone who I've put in my Hale Assist preferences.
Oh, am I in there?
No.
You saying I too suck at Daft Punk Duo?
Yes.
Okay, here's my next question. Oh, wait, no, the other gentleman has to answer. My bad.
Jim?
Well, I don't have any fancy self-made bosses like Quodz, so I'm a bit more impartial. Personally, I find that, like many people out there, Vinyl Scratch clearly has the coolest rage of them all. But I find it hard to go past, one of the classics, Gaben.
Okay,
I would agree with you there because he has a funky choice of beats.
It is glorious. I'll grant you that one.
Yeah.
Harder, better, faster, Gaben.
Plus,
Stop the Gaben, stop the Gaben.
Plus, we should really update the model to reflect that he's now getting a really manly beard.
Oh yeah, definitely. He needs to get the All Father.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Really? Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
Gabe Newell has a wonderful beard at the moment.
Oh yeah. Have you not seen
what
this?
colour? What colour are you going to make it?
White or grey, possibly. Have you not seen his awesome beard, Luffy?
Hey, Luffy, is there
It's Google time. Okay, Luffy, prepare to be amazed. Take a look at that.
Luffy, if
You
there's
had
a credit reel for this, just put up that photo that Wheatley's just sent you, and play the Harder, Better, Faster Gaben during the credit reel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Let me guess. Let me guess. That link you just showed me was one you had prepared earlier.
What?
No, this is actually, godly Gaben beard.
Oh,
Have you seen it?
I have now.
Yeah. Is it not the most glorious thing you've ever seen?
No.
It is. In fact, I have a way of making it even more glorious. Gentlemen, behold the magnificence, and you need to put that picture up on the video. You need to edit that picture in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
And that's why we've been waiting so long. He's had to grow it.
Exactly.
Looks like Gordon Freeman spent a bit too much time at the Valve cafeteria.
Oh dear, it's glorious.
And I'm sorry, everyone. I just delayed Half-Life 3 by another 3 months. With that.
Gabe,
Good one.
in the unlikely event, Gabe, that you're actually listening to this, we all love you. We all love your gloriousness, and we all know the only reason that you have that big gut is because you're hiding all of your extra brains and amazingness under your shirt.
Indeed. Also, we're quite aware that you're not actually fat, but that is in fact bear mode muscle.
Exactly. Pure man.
Please forgive us, God Emperor Gaben.
Yeah, but as
Heresy.
I said before, Quodz, how did you first get an Aussie Frosty? You forgot to answer it before Wheatley asked another question.
Yes, sorry about that. Quite to the opposite of Rzar. I came in through TF2, kind of in a random fashion. I used to play on some other servers, and some of them were going down from either people weren't paying for the server anymore. I was just bored, and I found Aussie Ferocity one day, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I found Saxton Hill, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And after a while of playing on those for about 2 or 3 weeks, I was like, there's a Minecraft server. And then I got into there and spent a couple of weeks there. And then I became credit to team.
Yep, and then I made him one of my Minecraft moderators. And he's been credit to Ozfir's team ever since.
Why don't things ever happen this easily for me?
Entire team is credit to team.
Now,
my old Minecraft skin before being Daft Punk was actually, I think it was Red Heavy. So
yes, it was Red Heavy.
That the entire time.
Yes.
It was great.
Speaking of sound files like that, I'm Solo hasn't made any guarantees, but I am redoing all the TF2 sound effects. At the very least, I put them in a download pack so you can download them and have them yourself. But Quapple, aka Cuddly Heavy, which I can't imitate, is agreed to redo some voice work for Cuddly Heavily and also a few other Hales who I'm going to keep a surprise.
Ooh, now that last part's a bit of news to me. I'm quite keen on that.
Yeah, and also if you think you've got a good sound file for one of the Hales or good music for their Rage on us, email them in. I might include them in if I like what I see.
I've actually been working on a couple of them myself. Like, for example, I've been doing some voice splicing for various characters. I've got things for Mario, but the first one, the one that made me start off with everything, was the Joker. I've combined a couple of his lines together from the movie, so that either for his rage or for his beginning thing, I think I'd prefer to have it play randomly when he spawns as one of the multiple things. I wanted to say, how about a magic trick? I'm going to make these people disappear.
You know who you should do lines for?
Who?
You should do lines for some of the spy bosses.
Well, I could probably do that, but who?
Well, we got Joke as a spy boss. I'm not... Where does Daft Punk Duo come from, Quodz?
You're kidding.
I need to slap you.
I don't play LOL. That's where it comes
I'm
from.
going to slap you. Okay, I'm going to refrain from slapping you for now. I'll do it later. Daft Punk is, well, they're a duo in the versus Saxton Hale mod, but Daft Punk itself is a real-world band. They're a French band that works primarily in, the French electronic/house scene. If you haven't, well, you've probably heard Daft Punk songs in the backing track of almost everything, because, stuff like Channel V on Foxtel uses their songs all the time for backing tracks.
Yeah, even stepping back a moment in the conversation to Gabe Newell, one of the techno songs that's used for Gay Ben, which is Gay Ben, Gay Ben, Gay Ben, Gay Ben. Yeah, that's a Daft Punk song. Well, not the actual song, but the background.
Hey, when it comes to music, I'm kind of a bit of a caveman.
If you see Loopy in person, you must slap him for me, like, at least 3 times.
Okay.
We will take a vow.
It is a different way to
I authorize slapping.
Okay. Loopy, Have you seen Tron Legacy?
I've seen the previews.
Okay, in the previews, did you see like the two robot-looking guys in the DJ booth?
No.
Okay, all you need to know is people agree that the Tron Legacy has an absolutely epic soundtrack. You haven't seen it, which is very unfortunate. But Daft Punk did the entire soundtrack for Tron Legacy. They are very well known and very well respected.
Okay.
And they're very secretive as well. Like, there's a couple of performances they did before they got famous where they didn't have the helmets and whatnot, but pretty much since having the helmets, no one's, outside people they actually talk to and meet with have really seen their face. They're always seen with those on. They don't really, no one knows what their voice sounds like and so on and so forth.
What they look like. It's I have a great deal of respect for them personally. Like from an artistic and costuming standpoint, I bump my chest to those people. Well done.
And as those of you have seen on the forums, I'm actually working on a Daft Punk helmet myself. It would be done by now if I hadn't been so poor.
Distracted.
Procrastinating?
Procrastinating and poor.
Yeah. It's like the quotation. It's like a quotation that I posted the other day, which was, procrastination is like a big bowl of arses.
Oh.
I'm not really sure where I was going with that. I'll figure it out later.
We're already 50 minutes into this, guys.
This is going to be a good
51
one.
minutes at the moment. We're already into this.
Yes, but
Sheesh.
fortunately,
I
Luffy,
told you it was going to be 2 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
unfortunately, we
9
only
minutes
have
to the
one
rest.
email, so we can still make that call some of the time.
Yeah, true. We only have one email this week. Thanks, Slack viewers.
Very unfortunate about that.
Shame.
Oh, well. Probably time for the weekly rant, which Wheatley has prepared earlier.
Yes, indeed. I must admit, I underestimated just how long I was going to make this, so bear with me here.
Get your sleeping bags ready.
Yeah, exactly. Get your sleeping bags ready, get some hot cocoa or something like that, and prepare for a weekly rant.
Be right back. Going for
This
tea.
one is about... This specifically... It was originally just going to be about how irritated I was by people who refused to spell correctly or use real words or use grammar or punctuation or basic sentence structure in playing online games or typing things. But it's kind of evolved into a bit more of a broad thing than that, and you'll see when I actually get there. So here we go.
I believe you misunderestimated the scope of this.
Yeah. Me fail English? That's impossible. Or yes, as you say, in the words of George W. Bush, they misunderestimated me. Anyway. For those of you who read my articles on OSFER, you'll know that I begin every single one with two things, a quotation from history or well-known fiction, and the phrase, "Hello, I'm Wheatley, and I love words." This is not merely a catchphrase spun to keep my articles tied together in some kind of uniformity. It's the honest truth. I adore words. Used properly, they can be so much more powerful than they would be if they just spat out without thought. They can be the source of some of our most powerful emotions, whether they are in the form of lyrics, poetry, or just simply spoken word. However, not all speech is designed for such beautiful intentions, and some of it is very basic in nature. In real life, it is easy enough to exchange words because the sounds are all familiar to us, and realistically, besides having a different accent, words remain pretty universal when spoken in the same language. On the internet, however, things get a little trickier. Unless you're conversing over a microphone, you will have to rely on written words to convey your message, and this requires a few basic skills: spelling, grammar, punctuation, and the ability to select the right word to suit the occasion. For the younger generations, this is a little more difficult, since this is all stuff that they're just learning in school, or I hope they're trying to learn in school. I, for example, saw a 10-year-old child on Team Fortress 2 earlier type the phrase, "Just because I'm younger doesn't give you the right to tantalize me," which was wrong in many, many, many ways.
Feels
However,
like I'm wearing nothing at all, nothing at all, nothing at all.
Don't even go there.
Stupid sexy medic.
Ugh.
No.
However, the true heart of the problem takes root when I see people, teenagers, grown men here, failing to type even the most basic of sentences properly. Take note here that my qualm is not with those who cannot spell because they haven't yet learned it or because they have difficulty with it. Like, some of my closest friends have horrible spelling errors, but at least they're trying. They're trying to improve and better themselves. They are still on the path of mental development. It is the people who know this stuff but choose to ignore it, or worse, who don't know but refuse to learn, that really infuriate me. And this is why. If you've drifted around the internet long enough, no doubt you'll have heard this little train wreck of the English language. Has anyone really been far even as decided to use even go want to do look more like? Be honest, unless you've already looked it up, you wouldn't have a damn clue what that guy was talking about. Joke about it all you like, but it's important in conversation to be able to understand what the blazes the other person is saying. And when you start mixing words in ways that they shouldn't be mixed, or you start substituting numbers for letters, you're not cool. You're not witty. You're a blithering idiot.
Yeah, like Wheatley and Fied in the same sentence. Just kidding.
Indeed. I don't know how many of you will understand this reference, but a famous author by the name of George Orwell once wrote a book way back in 1948 called 1984. It was a brilliantly written book that looks into what he saw as the possible nightmarish future of humanity if we continued down this path of control of scientific governmental domination. It was a very extreme worst-case scenario, and anyone who has read it will know that it makes the evil governments of stories that followed it, like, for example, V for Vendetta or Half-Life 2, seem like jolly little community service groups by comparison. And while I could go into a long and detailed rant about how many of the things he predicted are true in their own insidious ways, there's one especially relevant part. Newspeak. Newspeak was, for me, the most nightmarish part of 1984, as a writer, because it constituted nothing less than the total destruction of spoken language. In the story, words were shortened, replaced, or simply deleted altogether for being obsolete. As an example, any word which could be replaced by another word that meant the exact same thing was deleted, erased. There was no fantastic, amazing, exceptional, excellent, wonderful, astounding. There was just good. Or, if it was better than that, it was plus good, or double plus good. And since it was deemed that negativity was bad for the populace, all bad words were erased. Instead, if something was unpleasant, it was minus good. Language was degraded, reduced to its most basic elements. Some of you might wonder how this relates to people on video games typing, "You mad, bro?" And here's the clincher. The government in 1984 was slowly destroying language out of a need for total control of its populace. Our government is not doing that. It doesn't need to. We're doing it ourselves out of total apathy and ignorance. How many of you have read a Shakespearean play and found that you didn't understand even half of what the characters were blathering about? And out of those that didn't understand, how many actually made the effort to find out? You don't need to justify it to me, but you do need to understand that while it might be okay to cut words down to their most basic essentials in a text message, because that shit costs money the longer it is not okay to slaughter the English language on a casual day-to-day basis because you're too lazy to type the extra 3 letters in a word. It becomes a very bad habit which is going to take you down a very bad road later in your life. And beyond that, words of the utmost significance, heavy words that are dangerous and controversial, evil words that harken back to events of unimaginable horror on both a personal and a global scale, are thrown about by some gamers like stones. I just raped that guy. You just got effed in the A. I'm a one-man holocaust. These are not okay. And if you've taken the time to actually understand what the hell you're saying before you said it, you'd understand what a horribly offensive thing you just said. Now, this has gone on for a bit long, so to lighten the mood, I shall wrap things up here with one final point. Our language will always change, always be in flux, but it doesn't have to be a negative change. I can't help but feel dread when I see people typing such utter tripe when they could be when they could be educating themselves to speak properly. You don't need to be a master poet to be able to use a capital letter at the start of a sentence, a full stop at the end, and spell the word you with 3 letters, not 1. Trust me, being able to speak is one of the most valuable skills you can ever learn. Back in the days past, a poet named William Butler Yeats wrote the following: Had I the heavens embroidered cloths, enwrought with golden and silver light, the blue and dim and the dark clothes, of night and light and the half-light, I would spread the cloths under your feet. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams. Yesterday, I saw a man in his early 20s type, "Oh my God, you sound hot, show me your tits." For the love of God, do not be that man. Thank you.
I'd just like to point out for our viewers, in the case of the horrible statements, to actually be qualified for the statement, "I'm a one-man Holocaust," you have to have a 6 million kill streak with no deaths. That's the only time you're allowed to use it.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. But as a writer, I can understand where Wheatley's coming from. I often see kids all the time, They replace you with just the letter, And it's annoying after a while, You might think, oh yeah, I know internet slang, I'm cool, I type less. Derp, you're just lazier.
Yeah, pretty much. But the thing is, it's not just for the young kids. For the young kids, and this is where it gets really nasty, I should say this for retrospect here, the older generation, people in their late teens, early 20s, that kind of stuff, they type you because they're lazy or they're saving time or whatever, maybe they think it's funky. Younger children, younger generations, a lot of them are going to spend a lot of time on the internet, and this is going to become second nature for them. They're actually going to learn a lot of the way they speak from people on the internet. They'll probably might learn something in school if they're really trying, but they're going to pick up a lot of their speech patterns from the internet, and that's a terrifying thought. Just imagine an entire generation, our entire future generation of people who are going to be running this country, this world. The people who are going to be looking after us in our old age are going to be people raised by the internet. That is
they're going to sound like Americans.
For a scary example of that, for those of you who are familiar with 4chan, imagine the Prime Minister or opposition leader speaking in that kind of vocabulary.
4chan is just a nightmare that I actually make a point to avoid these days.
Have you ever seen Question Time? They're not far from it.
Implying the Prime Minister is telling the truth.
Oh man, I'm just imagining this horrible, horrible moment when the Prime Minister will stand up and give an impassioned speech about a great problem in the country of, he or she, just saying, this is something we need to act upon now, this is something that's going to be absolutely, it's going to be detrimental to our future if we can't get this thing sorted now. And then the leader of the opposition is just going to stand up and just go, oh, he mad.
Alternatively, if we still have a female Prime Minister, the thing there would be, blah, blah, nation-changing problem, tits a GTFO.
Pretty much. It's a horrendous and terrible thought. But yeah, honestly, guys, in short, please, just for your own sake, type properly. It literally takes you maybe 1 or 2 seconds more to type the sentence properly. 1 or 2 grammatical errors, not such a big issue, so long as you try. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to try.
And if you wish to practice, read a book.
That's also a very nice thing to do. They're quite good things. They don't
How do you practice typing? By reading a book, Loopy?
You don't practice typing by reading a book. You practice the English language by reading a book.
Quite so.
Because it's full again.
Anyway, here comes the favourite part of the show, the part you guys have all been waiting for. It's the inside gaming of this week's special game, the Rzar Tekkit server. It's like Minecraft on steroids. You can do lots of extra stuff. And we have the 2 biggest experts in the field here to tell us all about it.
Oh, yeah. Tekkit is...
Oh, yeah.
Tekkit is so much fun.
So we'll start off with the most obvious question for the viewers at home. What is Tekkit?
Tekkit is the Technic pack. Now, if anyone here watches the Yogscast, you'll probably be familiar with the Technic pack. It's a mod pack put together by the Yogscast's back-end team that combines all these really cool technological mods together. You've got Buildcraft, Industrial Craft, Red Power, and a bunch of others, all together in the one package and working together, which is incredible. And Tekkit is the bucket version of this. We can run a bucket server that has these mods on it, and it's so very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the Technic pack, as I've described to other people who've asked me before, the Technic pack, the way you look at this sort of thing is basically you look at the progression through basic Minecraft, and someone who's very experienced will have diamonds by the second night in a new game. It's not hard, but Tekkit puts so much more progression on after that. Getting those diamonds, that's just the beginning. You're in for a long, long grind. And at the end, you get nuclear reactors and awesome high-speed
and automated
rail
quarries and so on and so forth.
Teleporters, laser guns, and awesome suits of armor that let you jump over tall buildings in a single bound.
You are Superman.
Indeed you are.
But, if you want, you can have a whole automatic thing. You can have, this quarry that automatically mines stuff for you, takes it down pipes, then you have this sorting system, sit there and sort it out, and it'll put coal in one chest, bronze in another chest, tin in another chest, and even cobblestone in the next chest next door.
And it can go even more beyond that. You can go, I don't want it just sorted out. I actually want to make things for me. So then it'll go through a series of other machines that actually, manufacture what you want without any intervention.
The Macerators double your input of resources, don't they?
Yeah, but none of that. I mean the automatic crafting tables.
Automatic crafting tables? That's a new one by me.
They've been there forever. It's so cool. Basically, you pump the various materials into it through pipes, and it has a crafting table, and you lay out a diagram of, the thing you want to create. And then once it has enough materials in it, and once it has enough materials in it, it'll create that thing, and then you can suck it out with another pump. So you can have it churning out, basic things like if you have a wheat farm, you can have it processing that stuff into bread automatically, or you can go even more complicated with it. I think someone on the server at the moment currently has their miners' output going into a production line that turns out solar panels.
I think Leon's one turns all the UU matter coming into whatever he wants it to be, which is pretty cool.
It should be pointed out to the people who are thinking of utilising this mod that it will not work unless you are playing the theme song from the breakfast machine in the background.
Heavy's breakfast machine will also suffice.
Anyway, next question for you, Crazy Ones. I think we'll give Quodz a go at this one. Mm-hmm. So we've already had a basic grasp of this question, but what are the new features of this version of Minecraft compared to a normal version of Minecraft? So you want to give us a brief rundown, an official rundown of all the new features, or the most basic ones at least.
I might forget one or two of the features, but I'll try and cover all of it. Basically, as Rzar was saying before, it goes into a next level of progression. It's more into manufacturing and the next bound and leap of technology for Minecraft. You've got industrial craft, which is a lot about single block machines and whatnot, and electricity generation. It's a bit of a tongue twister. So you've got stuff like induction furnaces, which can smelt twice the amount of ores that runs on electric power, which you can generate from about 5 or 6 different ways, including solar power, nuclear, geothermal, hydro, wind power, so on and so forth. There's a lot of neat, useful things in industrial craft, including, as I think Rzar said before, the quantum armor, which pretty much makes you almost god mode anyway. It's just that good.
I think to remember, you don't have to eat, you don't take fall damage, hardly anything, everything will just tickle you basically.
You can swim in lava.
Pretty much.
As long as the power holds out.
How long will power... You had a full charge of quantum armor. How long was it lava?
There was a sad point where I did lose quantum armor once because I left it too long to recharge it, and I was swimming in lava at that point. It was a sad day. I had a full inventory full of diamonds and stuff, and I was
And this said, quantum armor is one of the very pinnacle things in industrial craft, and it takes forever to make.
Forever!
Yeah, forever and ever and ever and ever.
Unless you're a mod like Rzar.
Oh, yes, but I'm trying to wean myself off spawning in things willy-nilly.
And your new Rainbow Dash railway system? Yeah, right.
It's not the Rainbow Dash, that's just what you call it.
It's the Rainbow Dash railway, get over it.
Anyway,
No.
That's just industrial craft. There's, what is it? It's called Buildcraft, which is a lot of more, machines is where you're used to them, instead of just block machines. That has a lot of piping and engines associated with it, so that's how you move your stuff around. Quarries are part of that, or automated quarries, I should say. It's very cool, and it links into industrial craft in several ways. There's forestry mod, which is kind of, more trees and farming and whatnot. We're not entirely sure what's happening with that, with the development of Tekkit. It's been indicated it might come out, or might be taken out.
I think that whole issue was resolved, though, and it will stay in the mod, but we'll know when Tekkit 3.0 comes out.
Yep. They haven't gotten Tekkit 2.0 out, have they?
No, we're playing 2.1 currently.
So we've got jungle biomes now?
Nope.
No. 3.0 will be jungle biomes and double sky limit. Yes.
Have we got the machine that goes ping?
Nope.
That's called the note block.
Well played.
He's got your number there, Wheatley.
Yeah.
The pack itself does include, what is it? What's the EE mod again, Rzar?
The which mod?
EE, it's the magic one.
Oh, equivalent exchange.
Yes, equivalent exchange. That's more magical items.
Mod.
More magical items and whatnot, but that's not enabled on Arthur because, once you kind of get to a point, there's a point where it's like, haha, free matter from light.
Yes. Yeah, the equivalent... let me talk about that for a second. Explain it. The equivalent exchange mod, the balance of it doesn't fit in with the others. It ruins the overall progression of the package. It's fun. There's no doubt about that, but yeah, it didn't have a place that it's currently calibrated on our server.
I should point out, when I say that I love that, I'm not actually talking about the items. I'm talking about the ability to take copious amounts of dirt and make it into something useful.
Well, you still do that with the recycler from Industrial Craft.
Yeah, that's still a possibility in Industrial Craft, but it's more balanced.
Unless, look at my magical flying ring that shoots lasers.
Yeah,
I miss
I'm not
the
a big
flying
fan
ring.
of those things.
One thing I'm a big fan of is the chainsaw. Considering my whole town's made out of wood, I like the chainsaw on my tree farm.
Yes, Loopy has got wood.
Also must be said, the chainsaw makes the Doom 2 chainsaw noise. Yes. Yes.
Anyway, continuing on with other mods, there's Computer Craft, which is a very fun one if you've got a lot of spare time. It's basically programming in Minecraft that interacts with other computers, turtles, which are a kind of like robotic miner thing that Computer Craft has, and basically works on the coding language LUA. So once you've gotten set up and you've got all your resources taken care of, I'd suggest having a look at that one, because it's very useful, especially when you get into password-locked doors and whatnot. There's a couple of random mods that just work in between, keeping everything working smoothly together. And the last one I can think of is the weapons mod. I forget who it is, but...
what about the Red Power mod?
Oh, yes, Red Power. I'll get to that after weapons. Weapons mod is basically a bunch of different weapons added to the game. Most notably would be stuff like muskets, blunderbusses, and cannons.
Throwing
Quite
daggers.
fun. And daggers. And Red Power is quite cool. It's a bit of an overhaul to Redstone as it stands at the moment. You've got redstone wiring that can actually run up vertically and on the roofs of stuff and whatnot, instead of having to just do it on the floor, and other things as well, other component blocks that reduce the size of.
If you've ever played with redstone logic setups and made, RS NOR latches and various things, Red Power has them in single blocks. It's really handy.
Thank goodness for that. I am so sick of redstone.
But yeah, that really only scratches the surface of what Red Power and the mod developer of Red Power is doing. It's one of the most exciting mods, particularly in the next version.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the mods I'm looking forward to, I'm actually thinking of learning it just to have a go at this one, but me and Lepo are actually getting to Railcraft quite a bit.
Oh yeah, Railcraft is awesome. So expensive to get into.
Yeah, well, it'll be worth it, because we have an industrial swamp town, so it fits the theme, doesn't it?
And you can automate the coke furnaces that it requires.
Yeah, as much as I'm not into the technical side of things, I mean, that's the original reason why I teamed up with Lepo. He's technical, I'm building, so that's kind of our relationship in our town, but, well, that's probably a bad way to say it, but anyway, but I'm thinking of I've got to start learning some of this stuff, so I think I'll be hitting the wikis tonight after tonight's episode.
Oh, yeah. Everything's conglomerated together in a Tekkit wiki. It's easy to find through Google. I really think I'm going to throw a guide together at some point on the Minecraft forum for new players.
You want a hand with that?
Yeah, I might have a hand with that. But
right.
Yeah, that's we don't need to discuss that right now.
No, but speaking of setting up things, that brings me to my next question: how can players get themselves started on the server? Because it is a bit of an exclusive deal, isn't it?
Yes, it is a bit.
There was a bit of time there where it was kind of like Cartman Land from South Park, where it's like, it's the best server in the world, and you can't come. But no, we do have a way of getting onto it now. There's a link in the Minecraft subforum of our forum, and basically there's a few guidelines you need to meet to get onto the server.
Leon has written up a very detailed guide for applying to join the Tekkit server's whitelist. It's a step back from being a public server as we are running under Bucket, but it's kind of a
lot of work.
Is a kind of necessity for running a Tekkit server. Science, in the hands of untrustworthy people, ends in very, very large craters.
Especially people who can't reinforce wall their own nuclear generators.
Indeed.
And I will point out one point that Leon actually asked me to remind people of. Make sure you read how to whitelist properly, because he's already denied a few people, saying, no, you have not read how to do this properly, you cannot apply for another 2 months.
Yeah.
So to save yourself the embarrassment and the torture of sitting there watching us play for 2 months, read the thing properly and apply properly.
Yeah. Maybe we should go over it.
Also,
well, I think Leon's done up a detailed guide. If they can't read it,
If they can't read, they don't deserve to be on the server.
That's a very true point. Ties in to what Wheatley was going on about.
Yeah, exactly. If you can't read, you can't play. Simple as that.
Just a quick hint. If you can't read, it's if you're not going to make the effort.
Oh, that too.
Yeah. And actually, it's a very valid point. If they're not going to make the effort to read the whitelisting procedure and apply properly, then they're not going to read the wikis and learn how to play properly, and they're going to end up making very bad time for everyone.
I'd just like to throw the quick point out on nuclear reactors. If you're going to fill your entire nuclear reactor with nothing but uranium cells instead of, throwing in some cooling as well, yes, you may get an insane amount of power generation, but your power storage probably won't be there long enough for you to use it.
Indeed.
Anyway, we've probably already covered the fourth question, so we'll just move straight on to the fifth one. What advice do you have to offer people that wish to join or are playing on the Tekkit server?
Oh, well, for those who wish to join, make sure you read through the document and comprehend how to apply for the whitelist.
And then read the rules when you get it on the ComputerCraft terminal.
Yes, there are a few other extra guidelines for playing on there, but once you're in, you're in. And yes, probably the best thing for new people getting in is to get under the wing of someone who's already been there playing it and understands the technology.
Or if not, go with a friend and derp together.
And also, the community that's playing on there tends to also hang out on the TeamSpeak server. So once you've been approved, if you've got questions about that, then there's a go-to place.
Yes, did you hear that, Wheatley?
All the cool kids are on TeamSpeak, except Loopy.
Right. Except Wheatley.
No, I
Really?
said Loopy. I said Loopy. Damn it.
Really? So you're saying that all of
me,
you're saying so all the cool kids hang out on TeamSpeak. So you can judge how cool something is by how much you conform to this rigged standard of hanging out in one place.
He's
That's
got you there.
exactly what I'm saying.
Oh dear. My nose is completely full of phlegm now.
Yeah, so for those of you that wish to get into Tekkit, all the information on the forums, and, well, I've been playing it for a good month now, and, well, I'd say this, it's really fun, and, play to your strengths, When it comes to all this redstone and industry hoover and doovy and whatnot, I suck! But I can build, so that's why I team up with someone who can do all this stuff for me. Thanks, Lepo.
At its heart, it's still Minecraft survival multiplayer, so everything else is additional.
Yeah. It's like saying, here's the complex of surviving Minecraft, now we're going to throw in all this complicated machinery to confuse you as well.
Hurrah!
Yep. Hey, we have lasers, so it's awesome.
Hey, you can't use them without a fair warning sign, there, can you?
Also, and this is probably directed at you, Wheatley, you should come play with us sort of thing. We have Tesla coils.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I do
you mean
like
the good old Command & Conquer Red Alert days?
Say what?
You mean like the good old Command & Conquer Red Alert days when you're playing Rush and you have base defense of 20 Tesla coils?
Yes. Lightning.
I'll never forget that. The sound clip you had to sit the...
Excuse me.
I love the sound of that.
Excuse me. I just need to interrupt for one moment. Here's the thing. Normally, I ignore things that pop up on Steam during these podcasts, but I have to give a shout out to Mossy. Not because he sent me any kind of a conversation, but because he just sent me a gift. He just sent me a copy of Orion Dino Beatdown. So thank you, Mossy.
Nice.
Is that a fun game?
It's a 4-player. I think it's a 4-player sci-fi cooperative survival game where you fight dinosaurs.
Killing flow of dinosaurs. I like it.
Mike, I'm going to get a copy of this and go play that after this.
Oh, man.
I'm going to take a look at that.
I am super excited for this.
Yeah, we'll talk about this after the show, but we got to just go
quickly on that
I
note.
just had to give a shout out to Mossy there. Good man.
Quickly on the note of other news I forgot. For those of you who own either Left 4 Dead or Payday the Heist, it sounds like there's a crossover being done between Valve and I forget who the guys are who make Payday the Heist, but I saw that come up in my newsfeed earlier today, so that looks cool. You guys should look into it.
I saw something on that, but I didn't look into it too much.
Shame on you.
Oh, shut up. I got too much newsfeed to go through all the time. I don't receive games, I also receive cartoons, movies, and books information as well, plus the latest on programming and the industry, gaming, movie, and cartoon in general.
See, the difference between us there is you receive gaming news, I actually receive games. Which is great.
Huzzah!
I love free stuff. That's just a bit of a spiel. Give me free stuff.
Free stuff is amazing.
I love it.
I probably get invited to more exclusive betas than you do.
Yes, but I don't have to pay for most of my games.
Hooray!
Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, now comes the time. Now, I have to stress, these three bums over here were actually wasting all the good material before the show started on this section.
Don't worry, we remember it.
We got plenty more.
Would you like to begin again on your challenging of my manly heavy load?
No,
yes.
no.
Very, very well, Loopy. Continue.
But, so one thing that we all have in common and that most Ozfur members do is TF2, and we have got the Mad Chatters table. Today's topic is the TF2 waffle on, because we're going to sit and waffle about TF2 for a good, however long that happens for.
Oh, absolutely. This is the best part.
Yeah, in a way, I can relate to that. But I wish to start things off. I have this picture here ready for you guys.
Oh.
And I wish to say this. Here's one I took earlier in the week. And I have to say, it is I'm going to edit this picture up and make it real good.
Oh, my sweet Jesus Lord.
Oh, that's right. The Cutie Mark Crusaders.
Me, and the people I play, because I play the Scootaloo Mimic. I found the people that play the Apple Bloom and also Sweetie Belle, and we also had Death Bear's Candyman. All three of us were on the same server for nearly 2 hours, and we had fun being the Cutie Mark Crusaders and owning the crap out of every hail that come along.
Isn't that sweet? You're the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Now you can annoy the living hell out of everybody else with your incessant prattle and the fact that you're complete and total idiots.
That's right.
Yes.
We did just that.
The complete obliviousness to it all. Yeah, God.
Oh, dear. Oh, speaking of hail, and in particular, speaking of ponies and hail, we discovered earlier today the one true pair in terms of characters. And it was a beautiful, budding romance that spawned between two characters. The first one was Derpy Hooves, running around with her medigun, healing people, avoiding the boss. And then all of her patients died, and she said, I just don't know what went wrong.
Oh.
She ran away, and there she met a rugged, manly, black-bearded pirate named Gangplank. And they teamed up together to fight the boss, and thus was created a burgeoning romance that lasted about 20 seconds until they were beaten to death in a horrible and bloody fashion. But all in all, it was a truly wondrous and glorious occasion, which I expect at some point to be commemorated in some form of fan art.
Oh, lordy.
Hint, hint.
Oh, on an unrelated note, I also spent the entire Rarity boss fight flirting with Rarity. It was fun.
I've spent many a time playing Daft Punk, just, high-fiving the other guy. When there's not many people on, it's like, yeah, they'll find us eventually. Slap my hand. Slap my hand. Slap my hand.
Slap it now.
Come on, slap it now.
I do that quite often with, I bro hoof a lot of people, because people sit there and, every time I start the start of a match, it's like, you're just starting, you're all squashed in the same room, there's about 5 people holding their hands up towards the podium, like, oh great, which one do I slap? I can relate. Everyone wants to bro hoof the podium at the start of every round.
I don't.
Oh, I said nearly everybody.
Strangely enough, that's usually a way to stop a hail. If I
just have to
stand there and go,
here.
slap my hand, it's like, oh, cool.
I do have to, let me rephrase that for you, Wheatley. Every pony wants to slap my hand normally.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Or hoof, if you want to be technical.
I think it would be hilarious if I actually wound up getting a Trixie mimic. That'd be great.
Isn't that one already taken by someone?
Probably is, but I have never seen them use it, so they're probably not making very good...
It's probably an American player, because sometimes I don't see some of them, but yeah, some of the Americans have some of the mimics.
I
never see it getting any use.
Punk mimic either. And you guys better not do that. Because I'll
do what?
Get the second Daft Punk mimic. I'm hoping someone I know gets that. Because then it'll be awkward if it's like, here's Quodz with his boss mimic, and who the hell is that?
Who is that? Who the hell is that?
Random 1389 with $400 spare bought the mimic. Oh
yeah, speaking of combinations that might be annoying, I officially got Sweetie Bells for my Scootaloo character.
Oh, you did name them that. Nice.
I did name them. I've got what do they call them? The booty.
Mm-hmm.
I have now got Jingle Bells for my Scout and a frying pan. So now I'm a jingle-belling, frying-pan swinging pony.
Most annoying scouting game.
Yes! And particularly because it's me, it's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's painful is what it is. It's absolutely painful.
I'm just thankful that you don't have a voice command that plays the "you're just chicken" thing over and over again on TF2.
Actually, that's
people would kill
That's my sound file for our Apple Bloom.
I gotta say,
I wouldn't do that. I don't think there'd be a very amused community owner.
Oh, by the way, I will say this. I got to give a massive, loving, bro-hugging shout-out to Solar Flare earlier, who actually did something which made me very, very happy, which was there was a guy, a very irritating scout, and no, it wasn't Loopy. It was a very irritating scout who was, and Loopy, I'm sorry to say this, I know this is going to break your heart, he was more annoying than Loopy.
Now, how could he be more annoying than me?
Because
I've got to hear that.
Here's the thing. He was spamming the most irritating, spammable thing you could hear as a medic. Every map, he was following me around, shouting medic continually. Whether he was wounded or not, he was just following me around, saying medic constantly. And
that gives me an idea.
Only heavies are allowed to do that.
I mentioned it to Solar, and he said, that's classified as player abuse and is warranted with a ban. I said to the guy, I'm just here to warn you, one of the administrators has told me to tell you, if you keep this up, then you're going to get banned. He kept going. I typed it out, he kept going. Moments later, banned! And I was like, it's beautiful! And then Solar told me about 15 minutes later, he said, fun fact, that guy has been trying to rejoin for the entire 15 minutes. So,
actually,
Solar, much love to you, mate. Much love to you.
Solar does do wonderful work for Hale, doesn't he?
Indeed he does.
But actually, this might be a little bit disturbing. One thing that, and this is it might be a weekly rant, but one thing I hate, and I saw this 2 days ago when I was playing Hale. We're playing on that new 52 map or whatever it's called, right? And this new guy was having a go at Saxon Hale, and we explained to him, you got to push. Like I went for the voice commands. It was obviously didn't have to play Hale. I'm like, push G and you'll be invulnerable. I'm teaching him how to play Hale. You know what I mean? I'm like, you can super jump if you hold control down. And I was teaching him how to play Hale. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he obviously lost the round because it was one of his. He said it's like only his third go at being Hale, and he lost the round. And I said, I actually told him for the microphone, oh, not bad, mate. You'll get better. And we were all encouraging one, right? And then this toss of a player comes. He was the Hale next. He was the next Hale, and he types blatantly because you can check it in the record yourself, right? He literally typed, the Hale before me was crap. I'm going to show you how it's done, not the crap way like the previous Hale.
Oh, what a dick!
I know. So I was a dick back to him. I literally trolled the crap out of this guy. After the next map reload, he didn't come back.
Oh, what a pity.
Because I was literally the annoying pony I was. I jumped around his head like an idiot, and I also beat him as Final Pyro.
But Loopy, isn't that player abuse?
I think given what this guy done, he deserved it.
Yeah, what he was doing was player abuse.
I said, why would you say... before I started trolling him, I said, why would you say that? And he says, because I can.
Ugh.
So, no offense. That warranted a full troll session from me.
That is the worst attitude, I think. It's a part of the problem now.
He deserved it. He copped it. And the player who was actually applauded me.
It's worse if you're like that and you don't spell well at the same time.
Now, no one could blame you for what you did. Obviously that guy is the biggest. Not even going to complete
he had it cut.
But as a TF2 moderator, I kind of have to go, you shouldn't have escalated the situation.
No, well, I did.
Yeah,
I did do it. I didn't call him any names. I just sat there and said, "Oh, you can't hit me." And then when I finally beat him in Final Pyro, I'm like, "Now that is how you play Final Pyro."
Yeah, it went down all right, but yeah, everyone listening out there, responsible thing to do is go contact a moderator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But having said that, I will.
The more you know.
Exactly, and then
even
though
I shouldn't have done that, no offense,
lands.
that site so deserved it.
I will
say,
in all fairness, speaking as somebody who has in past tried to contact moderators and they haven't been online, sometimes you really do just have to take some of these things into your own hands.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as a good piece of advice, because it's not. It's a terrible piece of advice. You should just go get somebody and get them to shut this stuff down. But in all fairness, it shouldn't have to happen in the first place.
We definitely don't want these people in our community.
Yeah, people think that the anonymity of the internet gives them an excuse to be a tool. Here's a general rule. Whatever you do, don't treat anybody on the internet any worse than you would treat them in real life. Because here's the thing. And this is not a happy story, by the way. You think that the things you do online you can get away with? Not true. There was one bloke, and this is a really rare occurrence. I'll say this now. It's a rare aberration, but you can never be sure when it's going to happen to you. One guy was absolutely slaughtering a bunch of people online. Like he was destroying them in a game. And he was loud-mouthing and bagging on and what have you and saying, trash-talking and telling everyone how crap they were and all this other stuff.
He got a 6 million kill streak.
Yeah, this was a guy, he was in his high school years, okay? Some of the people who were playing on the game knew who he was because they recognized his voice. A couple of people actually recognized him from real life. Those people went over, and I'm just giving you fair warning now. If you're sensitive to bad stories, this is a bad story. Because they didn't kill him, because that would be just insane. That would be an insane story, and a massive overreaction on their part. But they tracked him down where he went to school, they bullied the shit out of him, beat him up, and broke his fingers. Now, it's a horrible thing, and it's incredibly rare. But the thing is, you don't want to risk being an arsehole to people online. You don't want to risk being a total dick biscuit. For the simple reason that someone there, one person, might know who you are. And that stuff can get back to you. You don't want to do it. Just be a good person. If you want to be angry, be angry. That's fine. Don't be a dick. There's no reason for you to be a dick. Ever. Simple. Done.
I like your term dick biscuit.
Yes.
I'm going to have to use that now.
It was actually originally going to be dick piston, but then my throat was full of phlegm and I wasn't really sure where I was going, so I changed it to biscuit.
Dick biscuit's a good one.
It is.
But yeah,
just like my usual one called dick butt. It's kind of like you're a dick and you're a butt at the same time. Dick butt.
What goes around comes around, and if you want to be a dick to people, people are going to be a dick to you. It's a proven story. You know, do unto others as you want done to you. It's old, it's prophetic, and it happens.
They might not be dicks back to you because they might not want to be dicks themselves, but they certainly won't think well of you. Nobody will think well of you for being an arsehole.
You won't be liked at all. You know, you'll be in a world by yourself the whole time.
Pretty much. You're going to be that guy who...
I have money.
Yeah, exactly. Screw the rules, I have money. No, you're going to be the guy who says something really nasty to somebody else and says, who's with me? Puts up their hand for a high five and everyone's just going to snub you. And you're going to be that guy, forever remembered as the guy who didn't get high-fived.
Slap it. Slap it now.
Yep.
Nobody ever slaps my hand.
Wait, do a proper spy voice and do slap my hand.
My throat is full of phlegm. I'll give it a try. Slap my hand. Come on, slap it now.
Not bad.
Well,
coming from someone who's half sick.
Back to work.
Anyway, do you guys anything else on TF2 you guys wish to cover?
Well, we were originally going to have an entire debate about what the manliest loadouts are.
Oh, go on then. Hurry up. Go on.
All right.
Just a bit of backstory. For those of you who remember Wheatley's article a couple of weeks back, or a month or two back, about the manliest loadouts, I disagreed with him on the heavies loadout. And we had a bit of a chat about that before the web podcast started airing. Anyway, I'll let you start from here, Wheatley.
All right then. So the original article which I posted says here, I chose the manliest heavy loadout is the brass beast, the family business, and the gloves of running urgently. This is basically just a quick summary here. It says, did you take one look at the brass beast and dismiss this list as overpowered? Then clearly you've never used this thing. The brass beast is by far and away the most difficult of the guns to use due to its painfully slow spin-up time and the fact that you may as well be stationary when firing it, making you a target for everything. However, this should be only used sparingly, if at all, because the real purpose of this loadout is the secondaries. Some of you may be familiar with the Fat Scout. For those of you who are not, Fat Scout is a heavy who ignores the use of his minigun and only uses his shotgun, Fat Scattergun, and gloves of running urgently, cardio. Both hilariously fun to play and highly effective in skilled hands, the Fat Scout is a truly manly way to play the heavy, as it allows you to dominate using weapons as utterly useless for combat purposes. Not to mention, it's fun to make fun of normal scouts while playing this way. But this gentleman disagreed, and he has his own reasons for it. Please.
And that's Wheatley's version of a quick explanation.
Yes, it is.
Indeed. Yes. The set that I put forward was the Iron Curtain, the Buffalo Steak Sandwich, and of course fists, or fists or strange fist, doesn't really matter which one. With the Iron Curtain, first off, it's a master-crafted piece of art itself. It's a tribute to the motherland. It's forged from Soviet iron, which is pretty manly in itself. The woodwork in it is from Alexander II's throne and mahogany, and inlaid with gold hammer and sickle. It's like, this is such a manly weapon to use. Then, of course, there's the buffalo steak sandwich, which, as most of you would know, red meat is a very manly thing to eat. Yes. Especially so with no bread, because, what kind of tiny baby man needs bread?
Baby, the other white meat.
Did you really have to do that?
I thank him for doing it. And as Rzar said earlier, it's raw meat, so eating red meat raw is certainly manly. And of course, finally, with fists, what could be more manly and satisfying than beating people to death with your bare hands? Apart from possibly actual bare hands, which, we'll get into later. So I put forward those three as, manlier, like a manlier set loadout in itself. But Wheatley disagreed. Like, yes, they're manly items in this themselves, and like as I said, it's like that's a pretty manly set, but not when it comes to the actual application of it.
Yeah, it's thematically, it's a very manly loadout. Like, the actual items themselves are, in and of themselves, very, very manly. But unfortunately, from a functional standpoint, it's considerably more practical than the set which I have going, for the simple reason that the Iron Curtain is functionally just a minigun. And the minigun, as most players will agree, is probably the best out of all of the miniguns. It's the easiest to use, it has the most versatile application, it does a great deal of damage, and it's just an all-round good weapon. And while the buffalo steak sandwich is no regular sandwich in terms of application, and it's very manly in the way that it forces you into fisticuffs combat, the fists themselves are basically just thuggish punching weapons. And that's good in terms of brute force manliness, but it's also, unfortunately, a very effective combination in the terms that it makes you run faster and you hit harder while using these things. And let's face it, if you're going to use the buffalo steak sandwich, you may as well use one of the other weapons, because, yes, it's good. This is the only saving grace I can say towards his one in terms of the practical manliness of it, is there are few things more manly than taunt killing someone. And since the fists can taunt kill someone, that saves them from being written off as being unmanly, unlike the KGBs, which are incredibly unmanly.
I know something being totally actually awesome. Better than that.
You were saying?
He can holiday punch them.
Yes, that is one of the applications. If you holiday punch someone, get them to laugh, then you just run up next to them and go, Putas power, and kill them.
True. I will say, the holiday punch is hilarious, and I do give props to people who can use them effectively, but I could not in good conscience call them a manly weapon, considering how they are pretty hideously overpowered in the right hand.
The holiday punch is endorsed by Loopy Legend for its hilarity.
Yeah, and in terms of what I actually said specifically, when I was kind of judging what the manliest loadouts were, it's basically that I feel that you needed to balance out your killing efficiency whilst at the same time nerfing yourself so that you can prove how good you can be using a terrible set of weapons. But you have to make the weapons just good enough that you can actually still be a useful and worthwhile member of your team, because losing horribly is not manly. And that's the whole point of the Fat Scout set. Is that
I'm so good I have to
show off your skills, your elite skills, using the family business to take people down. You've got a high reserve of health that can help kind of see you out during those hairy one-on-one occasions, and the gloves of running urgently will constantly drain your health as you move around, so you could use them for mobility, but you don't have a sandwich, so you actually have to keep in mind where the med packs are in the map. And I think that knowledge is part of what turns it into being the superior manly set. Also, because it actually makes the scout likable, which is a very intensely difficult thing to do.
Yeah. I love scouts, but Rzar, what's your take on all this? You've been awfully silent.
He's been contemplating the manliness.
Yes. Well, I disagree with Quodz on the fists. Personally, I think he's got the right sort of idea. You know, toss away the minigun. Who cares about that? Buffalo steak sandwich and bare fists.
From the original.
Not the fists. The bear claws that the Heavy ripped off some poor Siberian bear, and then strapped to his hands so he can claw people's face off.
Is that the Heavy's version of barehandedness, is it?
Yes.
Well, it's exactly how the description of the Opposite Ushanka goes. This hat is made from bare hands. That bear was killed with bare hands. So yeah, I would say again, thematically, the what are they called? The warrior's spirit, the punching bear claws. Again, it's thematically cool. You know, you've torn the claws of a wild animal, strapped them to your wrists, and now you're going to go around and succeed where the animal failed. You know, more power to you. And in that case, you may as well equip the brass beast as your unused weapon, because it will give you a 5% resistance to critical hits for using the full set together. But having said that, I will also say, from a practicality standpoint, the warrior spirit does even more damage than the regular fists. They do more damage than that. Sure, they nerf your health ever so slightly, but let's face it, when you can practically one-hit most classes in close combat, it doesn't really say much about you trying to nerf yourself.
I somewhat disagree. I don't think you need to really nerf yourself though, because it's kind of like, well, you do make a point about how nerfing yourself is, you know, manly because you still succeed while being, you know, somewhat disadvantaged, but you know, my opinion is, like, you should be pretty much self-sufficient and not need, well, although it's Team Fortress 2, you should be able to exist without the assistance of others keeping you constantly alive or looking out for health packs.
Well, that is very, very true, but at the same time, I'm more inclined towards the idea of Team Fortress 2, which is in fact why I've got... which is why I've got the pyro loadout that I had selected in terms of manliness, being, and I know every person who I've ever mentioned this to hears the first weapon and just immediately dismisses it and says that I'm insane. The three-part weapon is the degreaser, and yes, hear me out on this one. The degreaser, the detonator, and the homewrecker. Now, what do you notice about that? What does everyone always say about the degreaser and why it's overpowered? Oh, it's so fast, it allows you to swap out and kill people with the extinguisher or the flare gun or whatever. Yeah, that's all fantastic. You can't quick switch kill someone with a homewrecker or a detonator. The detonator at best does mini crits, and the homewrecker is the wussiest in terms of damage output, the wussiest weapon that the pyro has. But what that
loadout.
Yeah, that loadout allows him to do is to become basically a jack of all trades. He is able to be the most versatile, helpful person on the entire team. He can light up spies, he can move around quickly and versatilely using the detonator to jump about, and the degreaser allows him to quickly switch between the items when they're needed. So, for example, a spy backstabs the engineer, starts sapping his stuff. You burn the spy with the degreaser, and they quickly swap to the homewrecker and bash away the sappers. Thus you have become a useful and manly member of the team, whilst at the same time using a flamethrower, which in and of itself does less damage, and you avoid using the extinguisher and the flare gun to do the ultra cheap, super easy puff and snuff tactics, which are very brutal and they're very effective, and I give you full credit for that, but they're way, way, way too easy. So,
yeah, it brings up. I actually have to agree with that. That does bring up a valid point. Yeah, you're more of a team player when you can save the engineer.
Exactly.
I like that because I'm normally the engineer in
Exactly.
Two-Port games. I will say this: every time I play Two-Port and I go engineer and I defend, I like nothing better than to have a pyro and checking for spies.
It's so much fun, especially when there's a lot of spies on the other team.
I have a question to ask.
I love being the spy on the other team and just, you know, completely making the other team's battlements my own and hiding in obvious places. Just
anyway,
time to go shoot.
This other gentleman has a question here.
Yeah, on the subject of flamethrowers, you know, you've chosen the degreasers and Nerf.
Yep.
But what about the... Oh, this is going to be painful to pronounce. The... No, I'm just going to call it the flog. Yeah,
the flog. is the least manly weapon in the entire pyro loadout.
But no air blasting at all.
Yes, exactly.
Old
and
school
that's why
pyro.
And that is why it's unmanly, because, for starters, the whole point of the Pyro's air blast is that it can actually be useful and multifunctional and helpful to the team. By choosing the Phlogistinator, you are inherently saying you don't care about the rest of your team. If you use the Man Melter with it, maybe you do. But the Phlogistinator is an inherently very selfish weapon, and it's very easy to use, because the amount of damage you need to deal out is pitifully small. And then what do? You get an instant full heal, damage nerf from the other team, and then you do all crits, which allows you to slaughter everything in a small radius. That's the easiest and lamest of the flamethrowers. Even the backburner of all things, is more manly than the Phlogistinator.
I'm going to just throw it out there. I reckon the manliest way you can kill someone with a one of the flamethrowers is by actually doing the air blast and reflecting a sniper's huntsman arrow back into their own head, which is something I have done in the past, and I pinned him to a wall, and it was so good.
That was not good, actually.
Oh,
actually, that was you I didn't do, wasn't it?
That was me, you little bastard.
I've got a...
You've got to admit, that was just like, I've got him now. Sunk.
Yeah, I was up on the battle. This is a true story. I was up on the battlements. Here comes Quodz, puddling along the path. I'm like, yeah, I got him now. Shunk. I don't know whether it was random or whether he timed it, but he fired my arrow back at me, pinned me to the wall.
Through the head.
I've got a replay on YouTube somewhere. I've got a replay on YouTube somewhere where I reflected a sentry gun rocket back and blew up the engineer, and then I taunted using the director's vision taunt. And then, as I was just about to finish it, a sniper walked around the corner with a huntsman drawn, and he fired it, and I reflected it back and pinned it to the wall with a headshot, and then I did the director's vision taunt again. And then the last thing you see in the video, and I tactfully cut it off at just that moment, the last thing you see in the video is me in mid-taunt looking at the corner as 3 soldiers, 2 heavies, and a medic come round.
Did you get them?
No. I got horribly slaughtered. It was worth it.
Yeah, well, how about that? What's the best run, normal TF2 games, probably not Halo, what's one of the best runs you've had that's so memorable to you?
One of the best ones for me, I'd say, is, you know how occasionally during the week you've got the time where all the, not particularly skilled players get onto 2 Fort or something?
Yeah.
It was like a full server of those guys, so, not much teamwork or capping was getting done, but I just, decided to be relatively unproductive and not use my minigun as heavy. I was just like, you know what, I'm going to spend this match as buffalo steak sandwich and fist heavy. And within 5 minutes, I had 90 points, and I was there for another hour or 2 afterwards, and I was like, oh god, kneel before me, I will punch you, tiny baby man. It's the best fun I've had playing as heavy, because, if you can effectively kill people well and on a consistent basis without dying with your fists, you're playing heavy well.
Rzar?
It's true.
Rzar?
I have no comments.
Don't you have a glorious moment to share with the rest of us?
Well, while he's still... If you want, I'll buy you some more time. I'll go mine next while you still think about it. You know how especially on 2 Fort maps, the engineer setting up in that little balcony area where you have to come up the stairs from coming up in the underground area?
Duh.
Yeah, I set up my setup there. What I like to do is I like to put the sentry right near the doorway that leads to near the spawn point, right? So that way you can reach people that come off across the battlements and down in the area down there. I normally put my 2 warp pads on the 2 top steps so spies have a hard time getting over. Either I sap them first and it gives me a little early warning. And I put my dispenser in the entry of the spiral hallway, so they have to blow it up again. So either way, I know people are going in or out of the area. Minus spies, if they're smart enough to stay cloaked and jump over my warp pads, then go down the other side. And I kid you not, I held out, I stayed alive, and I got 140 kills in the space of 40 minutes as one round as engineer. I had the Frontier Justice, and I think it was the wrench that makes you bleed. I can't remember what it's called. The Southern Hospitality. That's it. And I think I had the Wrangler as well, but I never really used the Wrangler. I just have it on in case I want to set up in the battlements. But I held out for 40 or 50 minutes with 140 kills. I survived nearly 5 or 6 attempts with Ubered characters, heavies, pyros, or things, multiple and almost every minute spy attacks, and basically I drove it to the point where the only way they killed me, they literally had 5 medics with 5 Ubered characters, 2 pyros, 2 heavies, and a soldier, and they came out all at once and got me. I kid you not. That was the best run I've ever had, especially as Engineer in 2-Fort.
That's pretty manly. Also, I don't know if the rest of you had a look at it yet, but that thing that Wheatley just linked, that is glorious and needs to go on the podcast.
Yes, it does. I just put a link there for you.
Oh, yes. I'll add that to the TF2 pick. To the
Dueling Man from Dueling Land.
Yes, you need to start putting pictures scattered throughout the podcast videos.
Yeah, well, I've got a few there.
Easter eggs. Yes.
Do it a bit like how some of the escapist presenters have livened up their videos by putting in videos and pictures and whatnot every now and then.
Well,
it's a bit more engaging.
I'm not a graphical person, so if I can get someone to do a bit of artwork for me, I'll start putting it in as the show goes on.
It doesn't necessarily need to be artwork. It can just be
you
something
can just put in
around
random crap that you found on Google.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Stuff that's relevant to the
to
conversation, basically.
I like to keep our show in high quality.
You do.
Then put pictures on it.
Yeah, put pictures on it. Make it entertaining to watch as well as to listen to.
Oh, right. All right. I'll see what I can whip.
Slightly more effort to type stuff into Google, I know. But
it's more of a thing that it's all the editing I'd have to do if I wanted to do that. I mean, as it stands, all I have to do is load up Windows Movie Maker, make the picture fit the video, the sound file.
Yeah.
So I'll be slightly more editing on my part, but I'll see what I can do.
Right. You know what you're going to get.
Just a couple more pictures.
You know what you're going to get. Ponies. Lots and lots of ponies.
Hey, nobody... Wait,
also...
Some people may object, but try to keep it to TF2 and ponies.
And
I can live with that.
By the way, Loopy, if you want a new title screen that has Pinkie Pie and Wheatley as a pony,
that'll cost you an unusual.
You can draw that.
You can pay the unusual to me. I'll get Rzar to draw that up.
Wheatley as a pony.
I already have a picture which I've almost finished, but isn't quite done yet.
I'm no drawer, but I've already actually commissioned, or I'm actually trying to find an artist. I'll be honest, I'm trying to find an artist in DeviantArt to commission to do an OC pony for me, actually. As sad as that might sound.
Here's the thing, as I say though. I've already got a picture almost completely done, of Pinkie Pie wearing a suit, sitting on one side of an announcer's table, and on the other side of the announcer's table is a man in a suit with the Wheatley core for a head. And I won't say too much of what may be going on in this picture. It may involve a certain pink character spouting a quotation which is way too overdone by his normal standards, and it may or may not involve the other character trying to stab them with a pen.
Is this in regards to that complaint the other day?
Well, I'm not going to say anything, but I am going to link you to this picture.
That sounds very, very cool.
hang on a second. I know where this is going. Yeah, I thought so. I knew it. You're lucky I can't draw, otherwise I'd respond back in kind.
That's the thing, though. Fluttershy has already met Sasha on the Hail mod.
Sheesh, what a bunch of lamos. Isn't that right, Rainbow Dash? We're 20% cooler than those guys.
I didn't say it. Please don't get at me. I did not say it.
In all fairness, viewers, that was some other guy, but I don't mind him saying it because he's just quoting something else. He's not doing it to troll the ever-loving crap out of me.
Yes.
But still, it could stand now, I say it.
I'm the troll.
You really don't want to say it. You don't want to risk that one guy unsubscribing. Also, shout out to that one guy. How's it going?
It's one guy, and I'm thinking I might kill him, actually.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to one guy. Your man, back to one guy.
You know
Sadly,
who you are.
one guy is not your man.
love to get to know you a bit better. Send us in an email. You started this whole thing.
You heard it here first, folks. Luffy Legend involved in a murder investigation by the federal police.
What? Who, me?
News alert, one guy is dead. We will all remember him. He was that one guy that was there that one time. I will always remember that one thing.
And to this one guy, rest in pieces.
I will always remember him by the way of the fact that he was only one person.
I swear we're going to get an email from one guy next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway,
that one guy at gmail.com.
Speaking of, here's an epic transition for you. Speaking of one guy sending an email.
Yeah. All yours. Go ahead. All yours.
All right, then. Speaking of one guy sending an email, we have only one email this week.
You all suck, apart from this guy.
Sad face. All right. I don't know how well this is going to go with my blocked nose, but here we go. Dearest Wheatley and my little legend. Actually, firstly, the 101010 is, in fact, binary. Well, no, it isn't. I actually looked it up and went into a binary calculator and translator, and it said that it didn't exist, but whatever. It is binary for 42, and as we should all know, 42 is the answer to the life and universe and everything. Therefore, death is the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
If I might interject quickly, you went from grimdark to American halfway through there. It was like, I am dark and brooding, y'all.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that, but
I got.
So it says, thought actually went into the name. They're not random numbers. If you would like to know the full story, ask me over Steam. Now to bug you with some questions and stoof. 1. If you could remove one weapon per class from Team Fortress 2, what would they be and why? That should take about 5 minutes, so I'll leave it there. Remember, you have to answer this in 9,001 words or less or more. Up to you, really. May the Pootus be with you. Shalom. Death. Now, while you answer that question, I'm going to go and check out this binary translator again.
Well, we have a few guest stars here, but I will have to... Is it... What do you reckon we should make this to? Hail or regular TF2?
Let's just say regular TF2.
Alright, if I had to remove one... Well, say one weapon from one class, just to keep things a little bit simple, but I honestly have to admit, if I had the choice of removing one weapon from one class, especially when I'm Scout on TF2, on maps like 2 Fort, I would have to say the following. Any freaking thing that throws fire out of a pyro's gun.
So basically you want to remove the pyro.
Yeah, because every time I run past, they simply turn around, spray me once, and I'm half dead. They get a little spray on me, and it's like... I might have milk on me, but the amount of people that go pyro, especially on TF2, 2 Fort, sorry, especially on 2 Fort, is irritating. I often have to, like, you know, I go down the sewers, there's a pyro. I go across the battlements, there's a pyro. I go underneath for the regular area, there's a pyro. There's always a pyro. There's pyro.
Well, that's what you get for playing such a tiny baby class.
I agree.
Clearly you should be playing more muscular, brutish heavies.
Alright then, Quodz, what weapon would you remove?
I'm going to go with the Golden Saxy, because if I can't have one, then no one can.
I like you a lot.
So does that mean you don't like me, Quodz?
Yes. I kid. But, yes,
Okay.
every time there's a weapon with the imbued with ancient power thing on it, and I don't get one, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah,
I hate all you guys who own them.
I will say, in all fairness, the Saxys was a effing disgrace. Seriously. It was
actually, that was something that really annoyed me during the Saxys, because that was just at the end of my computer's, or my previous computer's kind of lifespan, and it couldn't really handle making a replay. And it was, you know, just after Saxy's awards finished, or the draw finished, I'd gotten a new one. I was like, no.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because you weren't popular enough. And that's the problem. The entire thing was a popularity contest.
Yes.
You notice all the videos that were, almost all the videos that made it to the end were all by people who are already very well known and very well respected.
And made Gmod videos, and people liked them for their humor beforehand, yeah, I know.
Exactly. And here's the thing. I would have been okay with the first part, you know? When Valve said, hey, everybody, we're going to show you 2 videos at a time, you pick one, you vote on it, go through. I thought that was a brilliant idea. It's a good way of culling out all the crap so they don't have to waste time on it themselves. That's totally awesome. You get a short list of really good videos that everyone's been voting for. That's fantastic. More power to you. But here's where it came wrong. They let the community have the final say on who won. They let the community make their votes on who was going to win. I didn't want that. I wanted the impartial people of Valve. I wanted Valve to make the decision on what the best video was. That way, they're not worried about who's the most popular. They're worrying about which video is actually the best. That's what I wanted. I didn't even make it to the finals, by the way, as far as my video goes. But I was still really annoyed when we got the final say, because I'm like, this is absolute garbage. The most popular person is going to win, whether their video deserves it or not.
Indeed.
But that's a rant for another occasion. Oh, and before you guys continue on with that question, 0011010000110010 is the binary for 42. Because all binary must be divisible by 8.
And Def, don't come complaining foul to me about that. You go talk to Wheatley, not me.
Exactly.
Don't come complaining to me. I'm not your counsellor anymore.
Indeed.
He charges by the hour for that now.
Yeah, I do actually.
So, Rzar, what would you remove?
Oh, what would I remove? Well, simply put, I would remove the one thing that annoys me the most. Okay, no, I'm not removing the degreaser or the extinguisher, so third the most.
Oh?
And is bound to cause the most crying. I'd remove the icicle. Spicicle.
I agree. It's a good thing to remove, but it's not the one I would have chosen. But it's up there.
On a technicality, isn't this supposed to be one per class?
Yeah, it is technically meant to be one per class.
I'm the only one who's answered one per class.
It is true.
And I did it with one weapon. Yes.
Yep.
Well, if you want to be like that, we can technically almost cover that, but I assume that one weapon that's high up there on everyone's list is the frying pans. This has been released to almost every class except Spy and what's the other one it can't be used by?
Engineer.
Yeah, there you go. Engineer.
A spying pan would have been great.
All right, then.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a very quiet kill. Clang!
All right,
that'd be part of the joy of it. It'd be like sneak up behind someone, clang, run.
Well, here we go. Here's what I can do in terms of weapon removal or what have you, all that other gargle mesh. What I can do is this. Ooh, pardon me, I was just having a bit of a herp derp moment there. Now, now, I can go through every single class, because I've got the entire list of weapons in Team Fortress 2 here loaded up on the wiki. But I'm just going to let you answer here, because at least one of you has obviously read my list of manly weapons. You should already know what my answer is going to be. In terms of if I could pick one weapon to be removed from TF2, what would it be? You should already know this. Anyone care to take a guess?
Give me a moment while I open up the forums.
No. Do it now. Just guess. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, because I'm going to say it anyway.
It's a scout weapon. I know that, I think, to memory. I can't remember which one.
Candy cane.
You're all wrong. The weapon that I would remove, and I shall now quote from my article, taken from the Demo Man section. Secondly, the Demo Knight. Let me make this very clear. If you use the splendid screen, you are automatically the least manly person in the known universe, and you may now hand in your testicles. That weapon needs to go! It has no place in this game. It is a cheap, poor man's, skillless version of the much manlier charge and charge. It is a weapon which requires no timing, no precision, and is basically just a cheap way of saying, oh shit, there's no way I can possibly win this fight. I'm going to cheap my way out of this as much as possible. The charge and charge required precision and timing and commitment to get damage done with it. If you use the charge and charge with the Islander, then you can get 120 damage charges, and that's manly as all hell. And then you got the splendid screen where you can do charge damage from 2 feet away because you coughed on your opponent. And there's nothing at all manly about that. It's cheap and lame and ruins Degru Keep, and I hate it. And that's my rant about that particular weapon. It should die horribly in a fire. And if you use one regularly and think that you're being okay, you're a douche. You're a horrible person. Go die. Or just
also, if you happen to find a splendid screen that's imbued with ancient power, I hate you.
Yeah.
And you can't have it either.
And if you're someone who picks on scouts with your fire,
you would charge into people and they'd turn to gold.
No. You charge into people and they turn into a bottle of Scrumpy.
Yes.
Scrumpy.
Incidentally, speaking of the charge and charge, why do I get the distinct impression that that's how the demo man begins sexual encounters? Like, there's a woman laying in bed on one end of a very long room, and the demo man just takes out his piece and just goes, "Ah!"
I think I know how the demo man finishes.
And then misses because he has horrible depth perception.
I think the demo man concludes the session like going, "I'm going to bury what's left here in a soup can."
I don't know about that one, but I certainly do think that when he's about to finish, he does yell out, "Kaboom!"
How do we get onto this?
Oh, well, welcome
long
to Oxford,
rating.
where we have fun every time.
Oh, man. Good stuff.
But before I forget, I will finish on this. Since no one's been emailing in for weeks for my guessing competition, it is officially over. You have lost your chance, no one else is really guessing anymore, so you all suck. For those of you that want to know, my favourite cartoon character was Michelangelo, and my favourite show was Sonic Underground.
We should clarify, for those few of you who don't get it, he did mean Michelangelo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He didn't mean, like, Michelangelo's David, or Michelangelo and the Black Sea Gentleman.
Oh, no. I said cartoon character.
Yeah, he was talking about the turtle.
Yeah, the really cool orange one with all the best one-liners in the world.
Indeed.
Also, I think you're probably about to wrap it up in a minute or two, but if I quickly may, for those of you out there who enjoy a good game of Super Monday Night Combat, there's a bit of a Ozfur community starting and getting a bit of people behind it called Team Bacon Grabbers.
A bacon strips.
So those of you who play regularly and want to get involved with some of the guys who play regularly on TeamSpeak, go find Shay and apply to Team Bacon Grabbers.
I think me and Wheatley can globally agree, not in our lifetime.
No, thank you. I would rather staple my ears to a subway train than go back onto that hideous mess.
I concur.
It was fun, and it was an interesting idea, but unfortunately the community of people makes it deeply unpleasant.
Well, yeah, like all
that's why
games.
it's good to do it with a pre-made of 4 or 5 people with what we've got, because, we all know each other, and it's relatively nice. You can just ignore the other team and how horrible they are.
No, but that's the whole point. The other team is way, way, way better than us, because they spend their entire lives playing the game. That's what makes it unfun.
Fair enough.
See, this is what we ranted about last week. The difference is, between, say, TF2 and Super Monday Night Combat, is there's a very big community of dispersed, vast... What
you were saying?
What I'm looking for here? See, this is what I said before. This is why I said don't rush into things without thinking, because you'll sound like an idiot.
Yeah, perfect example.
There's a diverse range of skills in Team Fortress 2. So there's a lot of good players, but there's also a lot of crap players. There's a very small community behind the Australian version, at least, of Super Monday Night Combat, which means that the only people who are really sticking around are the ones who are going to spend their entire lives getting really, really good at it and making it not fun for anyone else. Yep.
Yes, so I'm now one of those people, as opposed to some of the people like, I think it's Loopy, who only stuck around for the free TF2 hats.
Actually, I was there during the beta, and all I had to do was log on again. I was already above level 20 from the beta. I enjoyed it during the beta. Everyone was on even terms. I could join a random match and still be half decently competitive. I can't do that anymore.
It's true. I was looking forward to playing Super Monday Night Combat because I adored the original Monday Night Combat. I played it all the time, and it had nothing to do with Team Fortress hats. But then the new one came out, and I couldn't build towers anymore, and it was all about player versus player, and I was... Ugh. It became a lot less fun.
Anyway, we will wrap things up there. Don't forget, first of all, we'd like to thank our special guest stars who come in to explain Tekkit to us, the amazing Rzar, the technical marvel of the universe,
Thank you.
and the undeniable Quodz. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Well, thank you. Also, I totally called it on this being a 2-hour or 2-hour
You
plus
did. It's up to
interview.
2 hours and 14 minutes at the moment.
Nice. Very well done.
Very well done. Very nice
I'm
call.
personally looking forward to this podcast being over so that I can go and get myself some food, because I have not had
Yeah, me
dinner.
too, actually.
Oh,
So I will
yeah.
wrap up by saying this. Don't forget, we are going live next week, Friday, 7 o'clock. Be there or be square, because everyone loves me in weekly live, don't you, boys?
It's been fun. It has been ridiculously fun.
Yeah, it has. So, Oz Radio is going to get bigger and better as we help the Ozfur community grow on. And if you aren't there live, then you should feel ashamed of yourself, and you will not get a free prize.
If you
What did I
if
say?
you get more than 50 watches, Loopy will go topless.
Hey, I do have a webcam here. Don't
Oh
put it on.
God! No.
Hey,
What have I
that
done?
would be an interesting part of the live podcast, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Watches, forgive
actually,
me.
that gives me an idea. Maybe I should sit there, put the webcam on, take my top off, and do... What's that dance called again where it's like the ogre from World of Warcraft? Oh,
I remember that one. It's
yeah. I'll do... No, I won't do that.
that guy from Saturday Night Live who died a couple of years back.
Yeah. I think if I did that, there'll be half of our viewers will end up in the hospital.
Yes.
Quite possibly.
I
Massive
have,
cases of erectile dysfunction.
And the other half will be, Doctor, I'd like that memory surgically removed from my brain, please.
I'd expect it to be something like a huge build-up, and then the camera turns on, and there's a Pinkie Pie doll.
Yeah, I better put that away now, actually. That reminds me.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
I'm somewhat expecting either the music that Wheatley would know from that or that saxophone music from that Yu-Gi-Oh thing that we were talking about earlier before or I think it's Pat Benatar, the one that's like, I don't want anybody else.
When I think about you, I touch myself. Oh, man, I've still wanted, I've never figured out how to do it, but I've always wanted to make an emo version of that song, where it's like, I didn't want anybody else. When I think about you, I cut myself.
Ugh.
I think you're
I
not
can think of a
doing-
worse song, but I'm not going to say until I hit the record button off.
Yeah, indeed. Also,
Anyway, thank you for tuning in to the show. This is the Master of Sounding Loopy Legend and his wonderful co-host.
Dr. Wheatley, and none of you have tried to guess what my favorite My Little Pony episode is, so I may just, say it next week if nobody even tries.
Yeah, have
Right,
a guess. It's a
anything?
good prize.
You two can take a guess.
How many guesses do I have? Because I can just go
One.
Per week.
That is
I'm going to go
2 years worth of
with-
guesses.
Oh, hang on. There's Rzar's got a guess.
I'm going to go with episode 7, season 1, Dragon Shy.
That's not episode 7. Episode 7 isn't episode 7 Ghostbusters.
No, that's
No.
6.
Episode 7 is Dragon Shy.
Ah,
He's got it.
Well, there you go. But no, that's not it.
I'm going to guess it was the one... I don't actually know the episode numbers. I'm going to guess the one with Trixie.
Oh,
That
was
is
Ghostbusters. And Loopy already guessed that one last week. And no, that's not it.
Okay, I get another guess then.
No, you don't.
No. And since Loopy has already guessed from last week, he has another guess this week.
I do, but that'll kind of be cheating since you already told me the answer.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. And if I did tell you the answer, then in that case, don't say it. Because that would...
You did tell me the answer, so I won't say it.
In that case, that would be
Also,
cheating.
for those of you who like that, there is a YouTube video series that Loopy linked me a while back that was Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, for those of you who are familiar with that.
I'll tell you what, I'll do a bit, since we're out of time, I'll do that during the live, I'll promote that in the live podcast next week.
Yeah.
Look forward to it. Anyway, we do have to go, so thank you again, our wonderful guest stars.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll catch you next week.
Hope to
Make
see
sure you come
another
see us
time.
live
Fairly well.
on Friday week,
Poodaloo.
7 o'clock. Anyway, catch you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.